put this all up. Y'all know how it goes. Thank y'all for tuning in. All up, y'all seen this on rebroadcast. I ain't been here in a day or two, whatever. I just had some other things to take care of. I got a lot of things in the mix this month. So, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. It's cool. You know what I mean? You will see. But I got a lot of things in the mix this month. A lot of things. So, yeah, this whole going live and all that stuff, we all had to slow that down a little bit for a minute. You know what I mean? Let me just get something together here. I think that one will work right now, that one. So what's going on, y'all? What's going on? I see one like so far. I appreciate that. Give me a second. I'm going to share this, get everybody in here. We're going to have some conversation because I know y'all won't be having this conversation. Trust me, I know. I know. All right, y'all. That should be enough. I shared it as much as I could. The links are in the description box. The links are in also what I shared. I know a couple people been wanting me to do this. I'm gonna wait till I get a couple more people in here before I start talking because then I always have to go back and reiterate what I said, and it's kind of annoying. But let me say this. And y'all excuse me, man. I was up real late last night till like 5:30 this morning. I edited videos. Y'all see that as soon as I get off of here. Um, how do I feel about Puff not making bail? How do I feel that Trump said no to a pardon? Y'all so sure of that? That's my response. Are you sure? That's my response. You know, Trump, I would say is that's not the case. Anyway, we'll see. And like Judge San Marino said, it's only 60 more days. You know, right, Judge? So I appreciate you. I'm gonna read all some things here for y'all as people start to gather in here, or whatever the case may be. Shout out to the couple people that while I was away who evidently, y'all give me a second. I'm just trying to grab my tab if y'all wonder what I'm doing. Shout out to the few people that wanted to grab my attention, I guess, and be like,
How come you're not speaking about Diddy? You gotta speak about Diddy. Why are they speaking about Diddy?
that's what they were saying. What's going on? How you doing? Chilling, chilling, chilling. So I'm gonna read off some things here, and then I'm gonna get my commentary on it a little bit more, whatever the case may be, and see what y'all think, see what y'all know, or whatever. If you're not just your first time joining me here, my name is Davin Lewis. I worked for Bad Boy Entertainment, as many people know, for over 17 years. Still in touch with people from the company, still rock with people from the company, and they are my friends. A lot of those co-workers who didn't participate in any of these, which I would call or consider freak offs or whatever. These were personal endeavors, personal episodes. Excuse me. And that's what it was. And none of us were privy to it, including people that are longtime friends of his, including Groovy Lou and a couple of other people. So I hate when people try to throw other people in the batch, and that's what's happened with me and many other people's. As if we were there when Cassie and Puff were doing whatever. No, we wasn't. Most people wasn't even aware of it, and you heard this repeatedly through the testimony or whatever. These were sexual endeavors that were personal, private. They used names, as pseudonyms to check into these hotels. I think it was Frank Black, opposite Frank White, which Biggie was known of. Um, and I think it's unfair to judge people or make them inclusive in conversations where they're not privy to. You understand? I myself, 17 years working at that company, I can say for me, myself, and many others, I don't know about Gene Dill, I don't know about Roger Barnes or whatever. I don't know what they say. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. I just like I sometimes don't even listen to what they say because I don't want to be scared by something they say. You understand what I'm saying? So I keep them as face value as men before anything. So that's why, like a while back, I stopped listening to Gene Dill interviews, things like that, or whatever. Be a couple things I catch here and there, but for the most part, I don't listen. Not because I don't respect Gene, it's because I might hear something I don't want to hear. I might get into a conversation or something. How do I feel about what most people would consider double whammy, right? I would say, oh, he didn't get hell, he did again, and then Trump said, well, did he? Did he? Um, did he? Some people, they don't understand language and language ethics or how language is utilized, and some of us do. And so we would just sit back and wait. Like I said, it's only 60 days. It's only 60 days. So anyway, Pop, you got to sit for a minute. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Just sit back and wait. Like I said, sometimes things don't turn out the way you want them to turn out, but they turn out. Sometimes things don't turn out in courtesan or the way you think they will turn out, but they turn out. Mind Rumpf. Mind Rumpf. Mind Rumpf. I'm going to read some things off for you 1 minute. Mind Rumpf. Mind Rumpf, timing sin height. Mind Rumpf, man season height. All right, so I want to read this off to you guys, and I'm going to give you guys the first interpretations of what's the name from this. But first, I want to read off something in regards to what I was just talking about, which is this. And for y'all tuning out or whatever the case may be, go ahead. For y'all to still here, rock with me, I appreciate y'all. I don't do speed runs when I'm giving information out. I think it's very dangerous to do so. I don't try to be the first person with the information. I just deliver the information. Over 100 people in here. Can y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen and hit the like button? I would appreciate it. Sean Diddy Combs is expected to return to federal court on October 3rd for sentencing following a conviction on 2 counts of interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution. Though acquitted on the more severe charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering, the rap mogul still faces up to 20 years in prison. Amid mounting speculation, high-profile defense attorney Mark Garagos has publicly floated the idea of a presidential pardon, calling such move a great move for Donald Trump. Speaking from LAX, Garagos added that Trump's involvement wouldn't be out of character, noting that the conversations around a possible pardon have been seriously considered, according to the reporting. Garagos also disclosed a personal tie to the case. His daughter served on Diddy's defense team. While Trump initially in May that he would look at all the facts, he tone shifted more recently in the Newsmax interview where he reflected on their more formally cordial relationship, saying, "When I ran for office, he was very hostile. Though the jury cleared Diddy on most damning allegations, Trump later characterized the outcome as a sort of half innocent, a phrase that echoed the legal ambiguity still hanging over the case. Whether the former president acts on the suggestion remains to be seen." I want to read that last part for you one more time. Whether the former track acts on his suggestion remains to be seen. You understand? So, as we move towards that conversation right there, we also move with this. With sentencing fast approaching, federal prosecutors have recommended a four-year term, far below the statutory maximum. Diddy's legal team is pushing for a retrial, framing the underlying conduct not as criminal but personal and consensual. In their filing, attorneys argue Mr. Combs most paid to engage in voyeurism as part of a swingers lifestyle, which contends does not meet the legal threshold for prostitution. The further maintained that the trial evidence pointed out transactions between Diddy and the legal operated adult entertainment services, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Interactions that they say were consensual and often formed on basis of longer standing friendship. The defense motion attempts to reframe the government's case to one built on moral judgment rather than legal substance. As Diddy prepares to learn his fate, the broader implications of his case, particularly the talk of a pardon, continue to ripple through the political and cultural circles. The possibility of intervention The possibility of intervention from Trump introduces a combustible mix of celebrity, criminal justice, and practical calculation, political calculation. Regardless of what happens in the courtroom, the outcome may shape how legal system is perceived when it comes to high-profile defendants who receive the benefit of power and proximity. That was cute how they put that. Power and proximity. About Hillary goes down. I'm going to read about that, Sean. Just stay with me real quick, because you ain't think I was going to talk about him. We going to talk about Diddy, but we ain't going to talk about him. Huh? Who was far more of a worse man. There's a couple of things I can pluck out of that or whatever. One of the things I want to pluck out of that is the fact that I never brought this up in the conversation, but it pertains to the prostitutes, and I think a lot of people don't bring this up in the conversation as well. With the prostitutes, which are male, they're not female prostitutes. These were male prostitutes. Cassie wasn't a prostitute. She was an artist, a musician like myself. You understand what I'm saying? As someone that worked for Bad Boy Entertainment for over 17 years, as many of y'all know, and still familiar with the company, I not only promoted both of Cassie's projects that she officially put out, that would be her mixtape, and the singles that had Official Girl and all that. I forgot what the name of that album was. But the fact was, I promoted both of Cassie's projects. Me and a team of other guys and people in that service, and big shout out to Rich Dollars, which many of y'all remember him from Love and Hip Hop or whatever. Shout out to Brody. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. I see it like this, and this is the way I see it, right? The prostitutes worked for a service. And that's highlighted here in this article. And I brought it up before, but I just kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of nudged at it. I really didn't tap into it. Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen and hit the like button. It's over 170 people in here. What's going on? We're doing this again. My point is, the prostitutes worked for a service. That service allowed their clients to go under the aforementioned value that they were going there for their normal gesture, which was dancing, erotic dancing, whatever the case may be or whatever. To conclude, for a couple extra dollars, they was willing to make Cassie holler. I'm going to say it for you one more time. For a few extra dollars, they was willing to make Cassie holler. So my question then becomes, well, how many other of these agencies, because I'm not sure if this agency exclusively dealt with male /hookers /dancers /prostitutes /. I'm not sure if they just dealt with women, men at this agency. Did they deal with women as well? Now, if they dealt with women as well, it would lead me to believe the same agency that has not been brought up by name in any of the depositions I've seen. If I did, I must have missed it. But did anybody see the agency that was actually employing these prostitutes and sending them out like taxi cabs with medallions to locations like Puff and probably numerous other people that they're not mentioning? But, you know what I'm saying? That's no here nor there. How come nobody's ever talked about the agency that was actually employing the prostitutes and allowed these prostitutes, in my opinion, to get abused? That's a fair question. Is this company or this agency still in operation? Do they still provide services of this ilk to clients, whether they superstar or not, under the premise that they're going there to dance, and it somehow turns into proposition? And once that proposition turns into profit. So position turns into proposition, turns into profit. It's like Star Wars. I have spoken. You understand what I'm saying? I have spoken. Why is nobody feeling sorry for the male prostitutes? I see everybody wants to interview. I see everybody. I got to home in on this for a minute. I see everybody wants to interview the male prostitutes. They're everywhere. They're like superstars right now. I see everybody wants to do the giggles with them. A key. And did Diddy do this? Did Diddy do that? If you really listen to some of the interviewers, they seem like they interested in Puff's anatomy. I done heard men sit back and talk about, well, how big was he? But I thought you was a gangster. Could he perform well? But I thought you was a gangster. Could he do this? But I thought you was a gangster. Was he short here? But I thought you was a gangster. Did he do this with her? But I thought you was a gangster. Can you recount the time that he rubbed the what's the name on his chest? This is from like 10, 15 different bloggers asking the same question. Men asking this question. Want details on what Diddy was doing, why he was an accompaniment of watching his chick, for the better part of the lack of words, getting bashed out legally. The only people that were fooled here was the male prostitutes. Are we not going to talk about their emotions? Are we not going to talk about how they feel? Are they not victims defined by so many different advocacies that say people in this situation are victims? All these male prostitutes not victims, because I hear everybody being called a victim, and I said this before, but the male prostitutes. This doesn't make sense. These men were lured to that. Whether Puff is guilty or not of the prostitution, the thing is, guilty or not in the extreme that people want it to be. The point remains, you did get convicted of two things. We can't even ignore that, Bubby. So my point is if the prostitutes were females, would we be calling them victims too? But because they're not, you're missing this. Because they're not females, it seems like to me, with a certain demographic, then they're being looked at as this celebrities that slept with Puff's girlfriend. And I find that twisted. Isn't that weird? It's like, you have no empathy for the strippers. The strippers are basically celebrities now. But if you look at it from a legality sense or whatever, Puff got convicted for transporting the prostitutes, right? The prostitutes are males. The male prostitutes were performing with Cassie, who was not a prostitute. Cassie was like me. She was a musician. You understand what I'm saying? That y'all got to distinguish this. She was signed as a musician. She put out music. So why is it that the male prostitutes are not pinned as victims? And we got all these weirdos, so-called gangster niggas that, let's first of all, a lot of y'all niggas claiming gangster, whatever, you may or may not be. But if you ain't never hit them motherfucking steel doors, dog, I don't count you as one of us. I'm sorry. You understand what I'm saying? If you ain't never hit the stills, if you ain't never motherfucker been in the yard, wore Browns out of the courtroom, something like that, you ain't one of us. I'm sorry, you like, yeah, you was around, but you ain't never get caught in nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't never bust your cherry, like, if you want to say. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't really respect niggas to be talking about, yeah, I was out here doing this. Like, you was on, like, some kingpin shit or something like that. It sounded like you was just being safe early. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was a safe nigga. You know what I mean? You was either a safe nigga or a lucky nigga. One of the two. And there ain't too many lucky motherfuckers, so you was safe. You know what I'm saying? But you sure y'all need me to go out? Yeah, I get in the car. Dope boy, let me out the car, ass niggas. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yo, dope boy, let me out the car. That was you. Anyway, never mind that. Don't worry about that. My point is this, right? All these prostitutes also, what's going on, Tina? Are these prostitutes also victims? That's all I'm asking. Because if we said Gina was a victim, I'm gonna talk about Gina, her letter in a minute. But we said Gina was a victim. We said Cassie was a victim. We said, who's the other one? Mia, Gia, I always forget her name. She was a victim. We say, what's the other one? Daphne, she was a victim. Even 50 Cent's baby mom was making fun of her. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was saying she was a victim. Everybody was a victim here, but the prostitutes wasn't a victim, and the prostitutes were the one doing the performing. So I'm asking the question, it wouldn't have been no show if it wouldn't have been, because Puff was sleeping with the women too, but it wouldn't have been a show like the shit he was doing. Like, I'm keeping it a buck with y'all. Like, Puff, you still a nasty motherfucker for some of this shit that I've been having to read out. You understand? But the point is, I ain't gonna never skip nothing. We love you, nigga. I ain't gonna never skip nothing. We gonna have this conversation, my nigga. You was getting what going on here? What's going on? God damn. When you talking about this shit, nigga. Damn. You told us something, we would have been prepared. You never prepared to talk about this shit. The fact. Nigga got me all out here. I'm just shit. Like and subscribe. Thank you, Michael Full. I appreciate it. All these people are not victims, Gina. They're not victims. They're participators. And that's the part language that's being left out of the conversation. You don't know anything about Trump. You don't know nothing about Trump. You ain't never been around Trump. Stop talking about Trump and what you think Trump will do. Stop referring to men as the diddler like a sissy. And you matter of fact, get your sissy ass the fuck up on out of here. I don't like sissy motherfuckers like you. Your name is Crying Heart. Like now, I don't like people like that. Did you go to the Diddy party? Did you go to the Diddy party? Well, there wasn't no Diddy party. It was a collective, and this is what I mean right here. It was a collective of what is it? I think it's 6 or 7 prostitutes, 8 prostitutes, or whatever. They all were in one room. And these hotel rooms, they set up pseudonyms like Frank Black. This is all in the testimony. It goes to tell me you didn't watch the testimony, obviously, and you like creating your own narratives. So, as one of these, I like to call them relic, because now you're a relic, Cam. And I'm insulted you named yourself that on the screen. But never mind that. Anyway, long story short, either you didn't pay attention or you out here lying to the community. And when we got people that's out here lying to the community, that's the problem. Well, y'all lying, sir. Y'all lying. Because on the testimony, which all of us have heard now, that's not the case. You are lying. You are lying. Did you go to the Diddy parties? You mean with all the stars and they had the AI videos they created of J-Lo naked and Jay-Z and Beyonce? You mean those Diddy parties? Those Diddy parties? See, at some point or another, we have to start, and I want to have this open conversation with everybody. We have to start pointing out and calling out people like Cam. That's why I haven't blocked them yet. We have to start calling out people like that. Now this man is locked up, and he did something. You understand what I'm saying? And when you do something, you got to go do your time. This is somebody did 2 of them. You got to go do your time. But the point is, we're not going to sit here and lie on people and continuously lie when the court of law has determined that that's not the case. 360 people in here and 20 likes. Ooh, I got a racist crowd today, sexist crowd. Who shared me? Somebody shared me to somebody. Oh, it's cute though. Don't worry about it. Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen and hit the like button. Irregardless of the fact, we've got people that are out here pushing a narrative that was before the trial. You understand? Oh, he was messing with kids. Well, we even had Maureen Comey, who was the lead prosecutor on the case, say that's not true. Then we turned around. No, you don't get free and open reign here. I'm letting you sit here. Don't write anything else in my chat. Nothing. You sit back and be a spectator like you've been doing. Don't write nothing else in my chat room trying to draw attention to yourself. You're lucky I'm letting you sit here. I'm in a good mood today. Don't mess that up. Now, like I said, right? We've got people out here that are pushing narratives that before the trial happened, people were pushing. And some of them people are going to need to start getting called out. And you're going to find yourself getting called out pretty soon. Because if you won't pay attention, let me tell you something. Somebody won't pay attention to what a judge. See, I'm fine with Diddy getting denied bond or whatever. I'm fine with, well, to be continued. But anyway, long story short, I'm fine with certain judgments and things like that because they must happen sometimes. And if they happen, right? The problem I have is when you have a lot of people that are out here and they continue narratives before the trial started. Meaning like, oh, he messed with kids. Well, Maureen Comey herself came out and said, we don't have any evidence of that. You had other people that came out and said they didn't have any evidence of that. You've literally had people in the court system say there's no evidence of that. Yet you'll have these podcasters that will go live and they will collect $300, $400, $500 from their devotees of their cults, online cults, because that's what this app is. It's a bunch of online cultists. These online cultists will milk money out of these people talking about, oh, I found some evidence. You ain't find shit. Because if you did find it, you would have contacted the folks and said, listen here, I got some information. I want to check in with you, whatever the case may be. I might have something going here. You didn't do that. See, talk and action are two different things. And I think that's what a lot of people here on this app got confused. Y'all about a lot of talking. That's what you do for provision for life. You talk, and you talk mostly negative about people and make up stories. We have now inflated ourselves into going into that pose now, where people are now online and they are rather lie to you because they think it's going to get them a cash app. They think it's going to get them this. They think it's going to get them that. If you're sitting here and you're still pushing narratives about this man that before the trial started, people were pushing as far as creating AI videos, AI pics. It's all been debunked. We ain't got to make that up. And I'm saying if you're guilty of something, hey, they found him guilty about the prostitutes. But my thing is, how come we ain't talking in bulk about the prostitutes? And ain't they victims too? Every time I hear Cassie addressed, every time I hear any of the other girls addressed, they're always still addressed as victims. And we have found out now by court and law that they are not victims. And I view that as victim by the greater mass of the court system. That's just what it is. You understand what I'm saying? That did they get some perks? Yeah. One chick walked around with $30 million that she would never may not know this from working for that company and promoting both of her projects and knowing the numbers. She wouldn't have did $30 million. I don't care what none of y'all say. She wasn't Beyonce. She wasn't Rihanna. She wasn't none of them. She was based average as a singer. Based average. And when I mean based average, I mean Cherry Dennis was a better singer than she was. Shout out to Cherry Dennis, man. I was one of the girls at Bad Boy that could sing. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about on cue. You want her to sing something, she sang something for you. You understand what I'm saying? Faith Fab, the same thing. You want to shame something, she sang something. Somebody just put in the chat, Cassie beat Kim Porter bloody. Now, somebody will use that. Make sure 385 people here. Make sure y'all double tap the screen and hit the like button. Once again, like I said, watch the people that you're paying attention to. This man, by the name of Put It In, said, Cassie beat Kim Porter bloody. When have y'all ever heard that story? So, just like I said, he just led by demonstration. You have people that are in and revolving around this whole Diddy thing that are making up things or they're continuing narratives before the trial started. And it's making a lot of things seem skewed and judged and weird in this whole dynamic when we're talking about this. One of the things is we're referring to the girls as victims, but it's been shown that they're not victims. But we're not referring to the men, black men, prostitutes, as victims. Instead, we're interviewing them. As you notice, none of the girls have done interviews. We're paying them $1,000, $2,000 to sit here. What's going on with your case? You want details on how Puff was sleeping with the girls. But what did he do? Did he come in or was he just sitting in the back of the corner? This ain't gangster talk. We don't sit around and talk about shit like that. At least not in our boroughs. I don't sit around and be like, yo, how was his D, shorty? We don't talk about things like that. You know who talks about things like that? Niggas that don't have a story. That's who. Niggas that don't have a story. Niggas that can't milk nothing. Niggas that don't have any investment in the music industry. People that don't have an investment in the world that surrounds us in the hip-hop industry. See, unlike these vloggers, I'm not a vlogger, I'm a musician that happened to work at Bad Boy Entertainment. The years in question that you guys are talking about, this stuff went on. And when you get somebody like this one, Mac Dean, your name Mac Dean, he comes in here and still keeps on staring. I'm asking the question, who is paying y'all niggas? Let's talk about that. I think some of these people like Mac Dean, and where's the other one? Cam, and a few other ones. I think these guys are getting paid by somebody. And I'm trying to figure out who they're getting paid by. And I think a lot of them are getting paid by white supremacists. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I honestly and truthfully believe that. And I'm talking about they could be black, white, polka dot. I can't tell their race by the screen. It could even be a woman or a man. But let me tell you why I say that. Oh, no, we don't do that in here. We don't do that in here. That's not even the conversation we're having. I'm going to tell you why I say that. For you to continue on narratives that people were using beforehand and they've been found not to be true, but you find a group of people that will still believe the same narrative, even though it's been provided and it's shown not true, there's something wrong with those people. And I keep telling y'all there's something deeply wrong with a lot of these viewers. A lot of these viewers you think are normal, they're considerate or whatever, but when you really pay attention, what you'll find is a lot of these vloggers are mentally ill. A lot of them are uneducated. A lot of them are not great people. A lot of them are just nasty. You understand what I'm saying? And for me, it's for me, it's sickening. Because I'm like, if this was my son, let's just say Diddy was my son, your nephew, your niece, they would be lying on him. The same people that claim they're part of the culture. I just had a man come in here that just said, if y'all read it, that's why I left them in it, because I want y'all to read it for yourself. He said Cassie beat Kim Porter bloody. That's what he said in the cat room. So where did you get that information from? But see, he could go to a podcast of people that are uneducated, people that even the podcasters are uneducated. Many of these podcasts, they never even graduated high school. And y'all listening to them and sucking in everything they're saying. If you listen to the way of their reading diction, you can automatically tell this is someone that hasn't gone to a secondary collegiate institution very quickly. You understand what I'm saying? I live in Connecticut. We're considered one of the most educated states in the union. You can look that up for yourself. So for me, like I know when I hear someone that's like that. Nasty. Donald said he dates his own daughter. I have the clip. So he says now, following up, Mac Dean, after he said the other one said that. You see what I mean? These people are really, 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 really country Connecticut. I hear you. You mean really nice shoreline, very expensive. Outside of the West Coast, most of the nation's millionaires live here. Home of Yale University, home of the first pistol ever made in the United States by the Colt Gun Company. You mean the same nutmeg state that hosts homes that have a starting value at $2.8 million, specifically in the area I live here, inside Fairfield County? Do you mean the same country, Connecticut, that hosts Yale University, where the Clintons, who I'll be talking about in a few minutes, both attended, where many of your nations either contenders for presidency, no matter what part of the GOP leadership they were under, actually graduated from? Do you mean that Connecticut, country Connecticut? Now, I'm proud to be here, but I live about 40 minutes outside of New York. I've lived both of these extremes for my entire life. You understand what I'm saying? So if you ask me in perspective, what do I know? I know Miami, I know New York, and I know Connecticut. And trust me, there's a nice little story that Fat Joe got. You should go check it out. I'm gonna tell you this because you didn't try to assault before I block you. And guys, I'll go back to the story. There's a story from Fat Joe where he talks about him and Big Pun and some of his boys got ran out of Bridgeport there, don't you know? And they got ran out of by some other Puerto Ricans. They got whooped on, they got beat on, and luckily they didn't get snuffed out. I want you to go check out that story. Fat Joe tells that story. Fat Joe tells that story. And where I live at, sir, is a city. I live in the most opulent city there is in the state of Connecticut. Well, the area anyway. So whatever you say, man, you ain't been nowhere, huh? You ain't been nowhere, huh? As some boy used to say this, these motherfuckers don't know money like I know money. You know what I'm saying? Say, I'm in Middletown right now, exactly. Did you go to the Diddy party? I'm not your motherfucking uncle, John. What's your name, John Wiki? I'm not your uncle. Your mama just had you when she was 14 years old. Your mom was a teen mother. She needed to have that sit down and have a conversation with you. I give it to you right now. Your mama on her way to Tuesday night smackdown at the local the local tavern. Anyway, back to the conversation. When you have men like John Rickley talking about, did you go to the Diddy party? There was no Diddy party. So why are you talking about a Diddy party? You had another one in here this earlier. The Diddy party. There is no Diddy party. No, there was some consensual people that went to a hotel room, and it never seemed to have massed more than the 3 or 4 people that consensually engaged in sex. But it wasn't no J Lo there. Wasn't this person there. Wasn't this person there. Your imaginations have now turned into mental illness. That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, people be on here talking about I'm off the hook all the time. But do you pay attention to these weirdos that y'all giving y'all money to? Do y'all pay attention to these weirdos? Y'all listening to their conversations? You are not even listening to their conversations, but you're donating to their causes. So when somebody still can be able to get online, open up a live chat, and say, we're going to talk about the Diddy party some more. What Diddy parties? We've heard the testimony. There was no Diddy party. So now you're doing it as satire. Or now you're doing it to keep yourself relevant. Or now you're doing it because you have nothing else, absolutely nothing else to talk about. Nothing. So that's when I hear these chats, and I'm gonna come back to this, but I just wanted to say this. That's when I hear these chats and everything like that, or people that come into my chat room. These are some of the same people that you hear, and they say, "Did you go to the Diddy party?" and all this little silly stuff. These are some of the same people that harass me, tell people don't donate to me. They'll be in little spectrums of this part. I can't even keep up with them. I can't even keep up with them. Just this morning. This morning, I'm going to call your name out, Andre, good looking. One of my subscribers named Andre sent me a link of somebody talking about me and about Puff in the same sentence. And they were saying, yeah, and he's been a shrill for Puff for years. And I've got sources that say, I said, who the fuck are your sources? Because nobody in our circle is going to talk to a blogger. Trust me on that. Nobody in our circle, our immediate circle, is talking to vloggers. And if they are talking to a vlogger, they're talking to the upper echelon of vloggers. They're going to go over to Revolt TV. They'll go over there and talk to Vlog, maybe. You understand what I'm saying? But they're not going to talk to these little, pop-up mom and pop shops that y'all call podcast. They're not talking to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame them. They shouldn't. And that's under order. Stringer says so. Don't talk to none of these motherfuckers, no matter how much they offer you. All right? Okay. So anyway, long story short, because I haven't talked to none of them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't seen a part. I'm probably the best person you could sit down and talk to outside of a few other of my brethren that I know. One of my brothers, I ain't gonna name his name because I don't want to put him in there. He just went through his own strife and he just came home not too long ago. But shout out to my brother, the deputy. There's some people that don't know that lifestyle that you're talking about. I don't know that lifestyle. I was with a woman for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know Diddy party lifestyle. I don't know any of that stuff. But what I do know is this much. I know that there is a perplexity of people that keep on trying to push a narrative that is not there and that the court system has decided is not there. And it becomes a shame when you get people out here that keep on with a narrative about one man but have absolutely nothing else to say about other men that are just as guilty of some of the same stuff, including Jeffrey Epstein. Now, when I just mentioned the state of Connecticut, our beautiful state of Connecticut here, I also mentioned something else, Yale University, which is where the Clintons both went. And now the Clintons, since we want to talk about who's terrible, would you go to the Diddy parties? Let me get both of these clowns out of here. I'm from Louisiana, baby. Who that? Nice try, though, exactly. Greasy. All right, let's get this guy up out of here. He's definitely like boys or something. Jalen, thank you very much for putting my Cash App right there. Guys, if you don't have Cash App too, make sure you can go. Make sure y'all double tap that screen too. We got over 300 people here, only 50 likes. Come on, guys. Just double tap the screen if you don't know what a like button is. I would appreciate it very much. 400 viewers and 39 likes. Come on, everyone. Let's make it right. Double tap that screen. Like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Yeah, they don't do that with me. Unfortunately, Michael Fuller. A lot of these people that are watching me right now, they really don't like me. You understand what I'm saying? So I've learned to live with it. That's why I had to surmise and lower down the amount of lives I'm doing and stuff like that because it's just not profitable to me. I mean, I showed my earnings last month from even Google, and it was like $53. You understand what I said? I did 400,000 views. 400,000. So I had to pick between the lesser of two evils, and I just started going with, because at least they're going to pay you. Google. So I'm more into, like, satisfying them nowadays than more so the people. The people are not for me. Like I said, you saw 300 plus people, 500 at one time, and nobody hit the like button. But we will continue. The U.S. House Oversight Committee on Tuesday subpoenaed former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for testimony on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, according to the letters posted to his website. The Clintons were among multiple former Democrats and Republican government officials, as well as Justice Department, targeted by investigators in a major escalation of controversy surrounding the investigation into the disgraced financier, who died in 2019 awaiting trial for what? Sex trafficking, just like Puff. The White House has been facing increasing intense demands to be more transparent after the Justice Department angered Trump supporters, many of whom believe Epstein was murdered in a cover-up. When it was confirmed last month that he had died by suicide and that his case was effectively closed. The department also said Epstein had no secret client list, rebuffing conspiracy theories held by Trump's far-right supporters about supposedly high-level Democrat complicity. Trump has urged his supporters to drop demands for Epstein files, but Democrats in the Republican-led Congress, which some support the majority of lawmakers, have been seeking a floor vote on their force their release. By your own admission, you flew Jeffrey Epstein's private plane 4 separate times in 2002 and 2003. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer wrote to former President Clinton. During one of these trips, you were even pictured receiving a massage from one of Epstein's victims. Whoa, whoa. During one of these trips, you was even pictured receiving a massage from one of Mr. Epstein's victims. Now, he's talking about Bill Clinton. We're going to talk about this Puff stuff. We're going to talk about old Bill, too, old saxophone playing Bill, if you don't know. White House has been seeking to redirect public attention from uproar over its handling of the affair with a series of headline-grabbing announcements, including baseless claims on President Obama headed by the treasonous conspiracy against Trump. Epstein was a financier and a friend to numerous high-profile people for years, including Trump, who was convicted of sex crimes and then in prison pending trial for allegedly trafficking underage girls. His 2019 prison cell death supercharged a conspiracy theory long promoted by many Trump supporters that Epstein had ran international pedophile ring. International. Since we always talking about kids or whatever, I figured I'd segue here because y'all said what about the Diddy parties? All right, what about the Epstein parties? What do black people have about the Epstein parties? Make sure y'all chime in. White folks, make sure y'all chime in. We talking about the Epstein parties that took place on the island where there was a house at. Puff was going to hotels. You understand what I'm saying? With a chick that was over 18. None of these girls was over 18. And here go your former president. He's pictured having a massage by one of Epstein's victims. What say you? Nothing? What say you? Nothing, right? Yeah. No, that's okay. It's Diddy we want. Diddy's got to go down. His 2019 prison cell death supercharged a conspiracy theory long promoted by many Trump supporters that Epstein had ran an international pedophile ring and that elites wanted to make sure he would never reveal their secrets. After Trump returned to power in January, his administration promised to release the Epstein case files. Several of Trump's most effective promoters over the years, including the FBI Director Kash Patel, his deputy Dan Bongino, I think that's how you pronounce it, Bongino, had made careers of fanning the rumors about Epstein. But when Attorney General Pam Bondi announced on July 7 that she had nothing else to release, Republicans were furious, and they attempted to control the scandal ever since. Yes, it has dominated headlines through the summer, showing just how hard 79-year-old Trump to maintain his usual mastery of driving news agendas, even within the fervently loyal MAGA base, fervently loyal MAGA base. Though things had gotten more complicated for him after the Wall Street Journal report had lewd birthday letter. Oh, wow. After the Wall Street Journal report that Trump had written a lewd birthday letter to Epstein in 2003, Trump denies this and says he sued the journal. The journal then dropped a separate story saying Bondi had warned Trump in May that he had appeared several times in Epstein's files, even if there was no indication of wrongdoing. The president recently raised further questions about his past relationship with Epstein when he told reporters he had fell out with the former friend after Epstein stole female employees from the spa at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. After other officials targeted the panel include former FBI Director James Comey, whose daughter is who? The same lead prosecutor in Diddy's trial. Former special counsel Robert Mueller and ex-attorney general Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Margaret Garland, Bill Barr, Jeff Sessions, and Humberto González. Entonces, sabe, diablo, gente. ¿Qué pasó contigo? Tú tienes la mesa ahí, se esperan los niños. Ya, no sé nada. Esa por la gente en la barrio, entonces sabe claro. Como also issued a subpoena in the Justice Department for records related to Epstein, including his communications with Trump's predecessor, Joe Biden, and his officials. Lawmakers have also been seeking testimony from Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, mademoiselle la petite, who is serving 20 years in prison for her role in alleged crimes, although her cooperation is considered unlikely. What you say here? Trump isn't on the list, but anyone but Bill Clinton is. We don't know who's on there. Don't you think somebody actually had dirt on Trump for real? He would have dropped it by now. Well, not necessarily. Unlike you, how can I say it? I was in the music industry for 17 years. I know how people think. I know there's a certain type of language we have. There's certain type of things that we do that you guys, no matter how smart you think you are, and that's why sometimes I have a laugh about it. If you see me smirk and say, and many people in the music industry, depending on what elk you are, depending on what vine you come from, and you know what I mean by that too, are also privy to it, right? Only problem is people that are not still in the circle, they miss a lot of things. And why do they miss them? Because you're not in the circle anymore. Things have evolved and changed. I still remain around the circle. And I do this for my own contention. And one of these days, maybe y'all understand. Get a life, dude. Let it go. And I'm supposed to listen to a dude named Oso Loco with a cartoon emoji. You seem like you don't have any friends. And you're here watching me. You're here watching me. Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen and hit the like button. I don't know if Bill Clinton is on there. I don't know if Trump is not on there. I don't know. I want to read y'all another one because I like to give it from other perspectives. I don't like just to give it from one perspective because I think that right there is a dangerous thing to do. And a lot of people like to do that. They like to give, what's the name, from one perspective. Why ask me questions and why ask me why I should be like you? Why ask me, somebody said, why stay close to the circle? Why are you in somebody's chat room and the first thing that you interact with is asking somebody a question as if I owe you an answer? I don't owe you anything. So that's the thing that a lot of people have messed up. You've given a lot of these subscribers and followers this imaginary power. The power that they have is rude. They wouldn't use that type of power. I have to home in on this. They wouldn't use that type of power in any otherwhere else. For example, you wouldn't walk into a judge's chambers and be like, why do you have me in here today? You wouldn't walk into a sheriff's office and be like, why do I need to come here today? You wouldn't walk into the tax executive's office and be like, why do I have to be here? Whatever. You wouldn't demand answers from any of these men, but you feel that you could come on here. Shut up, bitch. You feel like you can come on here and demand something from me, and I don't even know who you are. It sounds very liberal to me, too. It sounds very liberal. It sounds obnoxious. And you need to leave it in the back room in the prior, well, how I want to say this, the now extinct Biden days. This is Biden rhetoric. And we don't do that. Oh, no, I'm not on a tangent. I'm just a man that's being issued a rebuttal. And you, just like liberals, like yourself, not Democrats, but liberals, just like yourself, do the same thing. See, what you do is liberal people and people that are basically emotional people, what they basically do is they go online, they go into people's chat rooms or whatever, and they taunt them. Then, as soon as you respond to them, you understand what I'm saying? Now they're a victim. You understand what I'm saying? Let me give you a word of advice when you're motivating through life here. As a subscriber, as a podcast, or whatever, I try to emphasize this ideology into a lot of y'all. I am not a podcaster. I'm a musician. Before I was a musician, well, at the same time I was a musician, I was a criminal. And I was a good one. All right, a very good one. You understand? And so I wasn't the type of criminal that had seen, a couple $1,000s. No, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars and upwards to hundreds of thousands of dollars at one pinnacle point in our career as a crew. You understand what I'm saying? We made the front pages of the paper, including myself individually. I've done some terrible things by the time I was fucking 19 years old. First time I got caught with a gun, I was 14 years old and had to do 2 days in prison. Well, you know what I'm saying? Juvenile anyway. So you can look into that. I don't give a shit. I've always been a little bad motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not proud of any of that shit. But the reason I tell people that is when you're online, like this cocksucker just wrote, congratulations. When you're online and you're hidden in anonymity, no profile picture, fake name, probably less than 20 subscribers, 75 subscribers, started the channel 8 months ago. When you're people like that and you run around frivolously talking to people crazy initially or whatever, this is one of the problems that you have online. Congratulations on your accomplishments is all. He said, those were my accomplishments in life. No, sir, my accomplishments were I ended up working for a record label going all across the country, worked with one of the best people in the record business, and literally probably done more in my little short 17 years of life than you'll do in your whole entire life. That's inclusive of travel, experiences, and everything else. See, people, they travel all the time or go to this island or whatever. I have people now that are in their 40s and they just now first time going to Miami. I was doing Miami when I was 23, 24, 25 years old starting. You understand what I'm saying? So the things that you're trying to get into or you're trying to project, I was doing fucking 17 years ago. That's why I'm not very easily impressive. You understand what I'm saying? So that's my thing. Like, I have people ride past me, they'll be in late model, I like to call it their brand new used car. So it's like a 2015 BMW or whatever. Listen, I've shown people on here, I'll show you again. Maserati, Bentleys. I was around all that. The first Bentley I was ever around was Pulse Bentley. It was at High 97. Yeah, the baby blue dust, powder blue dust drop top. That's Gene Dill. Gene Dill know what I'm talking about. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Is my passport tatted? Oh, you're definitely a nigga, huh? I love a nigga. I love niggas. So let me explain to you something real quick. And guys, I'm gonna get back into the Bill Clinton thing. Let me just get rid of this riffraff real quick. Usually people that don't have any challenging moment. I want everybody in the audience to understand this and pay attention to this, all right? Because I'm trying to teach you how to be able to target these type of subscribers and people like that. Yeah, you're riffraff, you're trash. You're divisive and you came in here with an argument. So you're riffraff, you're trash. Riffraff like you, usually what they do is they run around and they try to start arguments with people or whatever because they don't have very much going on, like in the case with you. You've been here for 8 months and you only got 70 subscribers. Nobody cares about what you're talking about. To point out even more, you don't have any picture, you have a fake name, and you have under 100 subscribers. Now, most people, if they would come and run into this person, they would tell me, well, sir, you insulted me. So there's no other way to take it. And I don't have to accept your insult. I don't have to accept anything that you say. Quite frankly, I'm asking myself, who the fuck do you think you are? You ought to be glad I'm being very nice and having the conversation with you. Because I have to deal with people every time like this. I go live and then there's nobody donating. There's nobody, I'm not your brother. Don't ever call me your brother. Don't ever call me your brother. I'm not your friend. My point is, I told you that was a nigga. Niggas, what they do is they do 3 things. Okay, you have to be very privy of this, and I'm gonna pay attention to it. This is how Umar Johnson has been getting over for years. The first thing they try to do is they try to convince you that you're wrong. They get this etymology from, believe it or not, a long-standing bout with fighting who their inner demons are, and traditionally passed on from family member to family member. This is a trajectory. This is kind of like they try to kind of like con you. You understand what I'm saying? So they'll try to convince you that whatever you're saying is wrong, and it has to be their way because they're uneducated, uncollegiate. You understand what I'm saying? Living in an environment of pure poverty entirely for most of the back half of their life, they understand the real meanings of what it's like to be a white person. Versus someone like me that lives in the suburbs and has grew up around nothing but Italians and Greeks pretty much for their whole entire life. But he knows more about the white mind and everything else. You take his word for it. Then they will get on here with their unaccomplished asses and they will try to challenge you. Like first thing he said to me, is your passport tatted? Motherfucker, I don't know you. And you will continually ask me question after question after challenge after question in my chat room, and I don't know you. So that goes to show you how mentally ill some of these subscribers are. I would have got the first time. Anytime I go to somebody's chat and I start talking and they don't like what I'm talking about, I will move away from that chat. I don't continuously go on and bat with, okay, you've had your chance, bye bye. You see how he kept writing stuff? That's someone trying to gain attention. And that's the mental aspect that you've got to understand, whether it's inclusive of people lying on Diddy, whether it's inclusive of people lying on Trump. Like somebody just came in here and said, Trump on that list. I said, I don't know if Trump's on that list or not. And I'm not going to sit here and eject and say, yeah, Trump's on the list too. But there's one solution for these people that hide like this. And I'm proposing it and I'm going to push it with the same senator, our senator, that brought Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress. And I'm going to tell you what that is. We need people to have to show an ID to get here on YouTube. Like, you'll look right here and you'll see somebody named Ella. Is that Diddy? She shouldn't be online. She shouldn't be online. She's been here for 1 month and no subscribers. Now, let me show you the ideology of this. You should pay attention because you may not be this type of subscriber, but many of a bulk are. And this is a problem on here. So listen to what I'm saying, because this is how fake stories get passed. This is how narratives get created. This is why you have people that were priorly talking about, formerly talking about or presenting fake AI videos, fake AI, and you should have known it was a fake AI video. The video was a number 15 seconds long. You understand what I'm saying? Fake AI videos with J-Lo and Diddy evidently doing this, that, and other. Then fake AI videos with Jay-Z and Diddy and Beyonce, all that. And it was all fake. Even the courtrooms said it was fake. And they were still like, I'm going to start a podcast right now. We're going to talk about these Diddy tapes. And they'll collect money out of these wahoo weirdo people that believe them. It's the most strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. But they will get it. Now, with that being said, you had somebody like Ella that's in here. Is that Diddy? That's that corn phrase. And I'm pretty sure that's blowjob instead of an Ella. Hey, blowjob, what's going on? Everything going over there? That's the surprise witness. My fault. I don't know you, motherfucker. Won't you do this? Won't you go outside in front of your house and see if anybody's shooting again? Won't you do that? I'm not your fucking friend. No, you're the exact person I'm talking about. See, let me tell you what I mean. There's a whole bunch of mentally ill motherfuckers that are online. Excuse my French. A whole bunch of them. A lot of them, if not most of them, are subscribers. Okay? But a great bulk of them also that cater to these mentally ill motherfuckers are podcasters. Now, you might not like the cuss words and you might feel a little sensitive. That's how I talk. It's the podcasters. The podcasters hold court to these mentally ill people and they sit there and they feed them stories. So, like, for example, early on, and I keep pointing this out, before the Diddy thing happened and all the courtroom and the gestation or whatever would proceeded, right? There were all these stories that these people used to push out. They used to push out one story. They claimed they had footage. So it was two AI, obviously AI videos, because first of all, if it was in the dark, it wouldn't have been that brightened up. I don't care how much you brighten up. I edit videos for a living. I know what I'm talking about. So that was the first thing that was all for me. It was all grayscale and white. I said grayscale and white is usually used when you're trying to heighten up the level or something and put perspective on it. So like say when people say they see ghost apparitions or something like that, first thing I'll do is go get grayscale with the what's the name so I can superimpose on what I might see. Or I'll do the second thing, which is I'll go what do you call it, thermal. If thermal doesn't work, then I'll go to the next one, which is the green. The all green sometimes helps too. And then there's an all blue, there's an all white, then there's a yellow, there's a prism one, which are multiple different colors, which is basically the same thing as infrared. Well, no, I mean not. Yeah, the infrared will be the next one, in thermal, which is the same thing. And then there's another one. But all these different colors are used as hues to superimpose on things. So always I can tell, okay, based on these hues that have been used, or these, what most people would see what's in the editing. Well, I went to school for editing, so digital media. So I know what I'm talking about here. I know how to write HTML5 code. It'll probably take me like 5 or 6 months, but I know how to write it. You know what I mean? Um, what you have is you have people when they do these AI videos and they try to make them look like the surveillance camera videos. Is one thing that always sticks out. It's the hue of the grayscale for me. The hue of the grayscale, if it's from a night camera, usually is superimposed like that, but it's at a fixed rate. That fixed rate is a certain hue. I know that hue, and I'm not going to say it, but if you do editing, you know that exact hue too. And you know that that hue can't superimpose that point, because at that point, what you have is saturation in the picture or the video. That oversaturation, yeah, it can work if you're doing a background where the background is white or the background is black or whatever. But if it's not that, that super saturation doesn't work very well. You understand me? So when I saw those two videos, I said, "Oh, I know these are fake. These are AI presented, definitely." Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen, hit the like button. Also, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. Or if you don't have Cash App, there's also a PayPal link and a Venmo link in the description box. Yes, I am going to yell out my Cash App. And for the 60 people that just hopped up, peace to y'all racist asses. You understand what I'm saying? Because they do not on this app want men that look like me to make money. It is almost preached to them. Do not donate to men of color, from whites and black women. So it's an uphill battle. And then the men, they just, that's a whole nother story. You understand what I'm saying? They rather go support a woman than support men that look just like them. It's sad. But anyway, we still fight on. Those links are in the description box, so you can find them in the link that I shared. Either or, make sure y'all support the channel. Moving forward, you get these guys that are on here, and they basically operate in anonymity. It's women and men, black, white, polka dot, Latin, you name it. And if they hear you talking about Puff, they hear you talking about any of these superstars, here they come. And the first thing they do is they want to mold the story, but usually they reach back to stories that are not currently the case. And I'll say this again. There were no Diddy parties to the point of what you're talking about in a sexual ilk. Second of all, watch for the people that always want details on what the sexual prowess was in the case of Cassie, Daphne, or any of these other chicks that was sharing those hotel rooms with them. Not community, Vijay, meaning like Hugh Hefner used to have orgies. That's the word you're looking for. Hugh Hefner used to have orgies. At one time, many of these other people that own porn companies and everything else out there in California, they did the same thing. They had orgies. You understand what I'm saying? White men, exclusive white men. Heck, well, all the same as a meme, we said that Epstein was over there having what we would call forbidden orgies, but that's what he was doing. The point is, I'm tired of a nigga being highlighted as the most biggest monster out on the line when it clearly that ain't so. Nigga, they just motherfucker subpoenaed the ex-president and his bitch. We're gonna need y'all to come on in here and holler at us real quick. Bill, come on in here and holler at us real quick. We got this photo If you getting a massage by a little young bitch, now, Bill, what the fuck going on? Bill, what the fuck going on? You already got this Monica Lewinsky shit. We done got past that, man. Now you got little bitches giving you massages. What's going on, Bill? But we don't want to talk about that. No, y'all niggas are fixated because y'all don't like your own men. Men and women inclusive, both in the black American culture. Your motherfuckers want to celebrate a nigga going down, but ain't worried about motherfucking Bill Clinton and what the fuck he did. I ain't heard a motherfucker even blow a whistle or mutter a word about Epstein. But as soon as something come up about Diddy, he was denied bail. He was denied bail. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Let's continue on about Epstein before we go back into Diddy. Bill and Hillary Clinton subpoenaed by a House committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crimes. I'm glad y'all put it that way. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed Bill and Hillary Clinton plus several former top Justice Department officials for depositions regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Former President Clinton associated with Epstein in the early 2000s, but has since renounced any ties to him. The news comes as Trump administration faces strong scrutiny over his handling of Epstein files and President Trump's own long friendship with the convicted sex offender. The Committee of House of Representatives has subpoenaed a slew of former officials, including former President Bill Clinton and ex-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, for testimony on the horrific crimes of the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Kumar introduced subpoenas for the former president and the First Lady on August 5th after the subcommittee voted to issue them on July 23rd, he announced in a statement. So priorly, they had voted to issue or release this evidently a list or something like that, and it never came to fruition. The committee is seeking to have the Clintons complete depositions by October regarding their knowledge of the Epstein mirrored sex offenses and the myriad of sex offenses. Comer also subpoenaed two former FBI directors, James Comey James Comey and Roberto and Robert. I keep wanting to call him Roberto, but Robert Mueller, as well as six former attorneys generals, Merrick Garland, William Barr, Jeff Sessions, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, and Alberto Gonzalez. ¿Qué pasó contigo, gente? Entonces saben diferente ahí, entonces saben, cabrón. Tú tienes unos niños ahí, entonces sabes, ya cansó poca, entonces sabes, pero en el barrio, tú sabes, tú tienes problemas, tú sabes, tú tienes necesidad, pero en las nenas, entonces sabes, tú tienes el problema, tú sabes, pero en la gente. Este cabrón vive en Perú, Nuevo York. Entonces, sabes, por la gente latina, tú sabes, claro. Yo soy un poquito nervioso ahí, entonces, sabes, porque este cabrón latino, tú sabes. Esa no tan bueno ahí, pero la niños, no. Bill Clinton's relationship with Epstein has been a source of public financiation for years. When Epstein was arrested in sex trafficking charges in 2019, Clinton's spokesman said the former commander-in-chief had been on Epstein's jet 4 times and had taken a meeting at his Manhattan mansion in 2002, painting a picture of a professional relationship between the pair. I would say so. Clinton knew nothing of Epstein's crimes, and the two had not spoken in over a decade at the time of his arrest, said the spokesman. A rep for the Clintons did not immediately return their inquiry of people on Tuesday. Now, that's the same thing that Trump was saying. He moved away from them. However, more recent reporting has suggested Clinton's association with Epstein may have been more extensive than previously understood. It was reported that Clinton allegedly wrote a letter to Epstein for his 50th birthday, including the same commemorative book as a Browdy alleged message from the future president, Donald Trump, who purportedly wrote the two have certain things in common. He shouldn't have wrote that. And Tuesday, featuring images of Epstein's palatial Manhattan townhouse, Epstein and Clinton can be seen in a framed photograph looking warmly at each other. You in a photograph with them? They're in a photo. Did y'all hear what I just wrote? Featuring in Tuesday, featuring images of Epstein's palatial Manhattan townhouse, Epstein and Clinton can be seen in a framed photograph looking warmly at each other. They were in a framed photograph of each other. That's crazy. The subpoenas come as Trump faces increasing scrutiny over his administration's handling of the government's Epstein files. and on his own long, well-documented friendship with the convicted child sex offender. The convicted child sex offender. God, could you make sure you double tap the screen and hit the like button? Months after current attorney General Pam Bondi said on TV that Epstein's reputed client list was sitting at her desk, her Justice Department reported that no such list existed, and there was not enough evidence to prosecute any potential co-conspirators in Epstein's massive child sex trafficking scheme. Massive sex trafficking scheme. Trump has urged his followers to forget about his connections with Epstein, as he should. It seems like Bill Clinton was a little bit more engaged with him than anybody, and to focus instead on the Clintons' relationship with the financier. The DOJ has since interviewed Epstein's convicted madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, who reportedly named about 100 Epstein associates during her interview. She has since been moved to a prison with lighter security. I bet she has. Maxwell, who is angling for a pardon or commutation, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is angling for a pardon or commutation, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is angling for a pardon or commutation, and Ghislaine Maxwell et Mademoiselle Ghislaine Maxwell exquisite. Hein? On parlait compris au pardon ou competition. Hein? Ça va, mademoiselle? Fumo beso. Tatat. Has been subpoenaed for a deposition before Congress, though she said she will plead the Fifth Amendment unless she is guaranteed immunity from prosecution forever, she says. Epstein died in federal jail in 2019 while under indictment for sex trafficking charges, which was controversially ruled as a suicide. At the time, Trump was president of Barr, which is the attorney general. I think Trump was just networking. I don't think he took the Clinton. I don't think he did either. Listen, man, there's a lot of things. Trump have been out here and got fresh with Dougie. I done seen him on camera, whatever, grab a bottle of Vijay. I heard all that stuff. Do I think Trump was out here snatching and grabbing Vijay? Nah, Trump was a motherfucking billionaire then. Do I think Trump said some things that might have been a little in the boys club? Yeah. And shit, for that matter, we all have. How about that? We all have. If you ever looked at a woman and said, damn, she got a fat ass, you right in the confines of Bill Clinton. You right in the, well, you ain't in the confines of Bill Clinton, but you right in the confines of President Trump. Huh? Ladies, you ain't never had a man look at you as you was passing by and say, yo, damn, shorty, you got a fat ass. And don't tell me if you live in any urban community that you ain't never heard that. If you live in a white community, you didn't heard that. Because I know some Italian guys will tell you the same thing. Hey, get that fucking ass over here. You understand? So don't feed me the bullshit. Tell me in my chat room if you ain't never heard a guy say something that could be considered a sexual offense. Really, it could be. Verbally. Some things you say could be considered a sexual offense. But do I think that Trump versus Clinton, many times we even having this conversation about the bail and everything like that. I have to point out that if you guys don't know, I was actually down there when Trump was going to court. And I'm going to show you all that in a few minutes. And I remember a lot of things that I said. But one of the things I said that was involving Stormy Daniels was a fucking hooker. She was a hooker. And ironic, she was a hooker. She did interviews. She got paid for the interviews. And she was accusing Trump, or whatever she was accusing Trump of. Trump paid her off. You understand what I'm saying? Gave her some dollars. Then Trump got taken to court because he had given her some dollars. I had never seen that. I said, talking about unprecedented cases. This is one of them right here. Trump got dragged into court because he paid a hooker $100,000 via his lawyer. And I was there. I was at the courtroom. Like, it's literally on the channel. I'm going to play it for you in a few minutes here so y'all can see for yourself. And so I'm like, when I was down there, I was one of the people that was standing off to the side, but I saw so many people paying attention to me. And I said, hold up, they got Donald Trump in here in court over some community, Vijay? This bitch looked like a horse in the face. She looked like a horse in the face. I ain't gonna hold you. She looked like a straight Clydesdale. Wilbur. That was a homely looking white woman. I swear to God, I ain't even gonna hold you. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, some women in general age bad, but some white women, you know, if you ain't got good genomes, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna start aging like a banana. And you know exactly what I mean by that. That ain't all white women. God bless these Italian women out here, these Greek women out here. Shit, even Russian women, they got good genes. You understand what I'm saying? But there's some of these genes that are so buried in, I don't know, 4 or 5 generations back, local cousin fuckers. I'll leave it like that. I want to keep my channel right, you know. But you know what I mean, the local cousin, because most of the places in the United States are small towns. The black people, you guilty of this too, and Spanish people too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to Mississippi, you go to, I don't know, you go to Mississippi, you go to Memphis, places like that or whatever, and the people down there, they'll tell you. North Carolina, South Carolina is fruitful of this, Alabama, a couple of them other places down there, even in the Midwest, there's some places like that too. You go to these little small rural towns, you will find black people in there that literally, and I mean literally, are interbred. Now, I know it's hard for you to believe that, but I'm talking about they got generations of them being interbred too. Even people in the local facilities of where they live at, no, they interbred. And you know what I mean? I mean, like the daddy, it was a small town. Yeah, Bubba Gump. It was a small town. You got 4 good-looking men, right? The 4 good-looking men, all the girls around in the town want them, right? There's a whole bunch of girls. They all want to give the dude some vajay, right? So they all end up giving the dude some vajay. Little do they know, this one pregnant over there, this one pregnant over here. There might be another one pregnant in the next surrounded town that's over maybe 2-3 miles out or whatever. Now these kids, they end up going to school or playing it on with somebody else or whatever. You find out, they never find out that they're cousins or they brother and sisters genetically, right? So what happens is in this little small town, they end up having sex, having a baby. The baby come out. This little Down syndrome motherfucker, you can't figure out what's wrong. I'm sorry, let me say it. I'm sorry. This kid comes out messed up or whatever. You don't know what's wrong with the kid, right? Kind of find out because y'all got the same, all three y'all got the same DNA strand. And this happens. I'm going to do a whole show about this because y'all don't believe me. There was this town in Alabama, and the same thing happens in Puerto Rico. The same thing happens in the Dominican Republic. Yes, it does. Shut the fuck up. And same thing happens in Cuba. The same thing happens in many of different places. Motherfuckers, well, it'll be between 5 to 10 good-looking guys. And then the girls, they all searching for that guy. You know, he might have the most camels in the village. This one over here, he might have more platanos than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We got fucking Poppy. Poppy got platanos for days. He got platanos on storage. You understand? Or this one over here, it might just be a simple. He got a car. You understand what I'm saying? There's people in the islands, man. Like I'm talking about the Caribbean. I can't speak for Latin America. I don't know too much about Latin America, but I know the Caribbean. And I'm just saying, for Latinos or Hispanics, you want to say in the Caribbean, it's very different than Latin America. And so there's people down in the Caribbean that's walking around with no shoes on, dog. Like literally walking with no shoes on. Some people, they ain't got no shirt or they got 2 or 3 good shirts, so they walk around with just, what's the name? You know what I mean? So, Christina, we don't need you here. We don't need you here at all. Like, what are you doing to benefit me? You know what I'm saying? I hate when somebody be like, I want to be able to go then. I don't care. Anyway, long story short, the reason I bring that up, and like some people, they can't understand the correlation of why I bring things up, is because poverty will make people do things that they normally wouldn't. Jeffrey Epstein's #1 place he was at was a house that he had bought in the Bahamas, the Caribbean. See, if that dumb bitch would have just sat there and listened, she think a nigga's supposed to just hurry up and tell her everything she want to know and get to the point and pass. And the way I'm not a woman. I'm a guy. I talk like a guy. I don't talk like a woman. Oh, girl, he go to tea. I don't talk like that. All right? If you want that, you go over there and you go talk to one of them stepping fetchers and tell them to tap dance for you. I'm not doing that. It's not the way I talk. I would be embarrassing to my family if I started talking like that. Now, you can get the fuck out of my shits on my streams. Yo, you're never going anywhere. If you're sitting in the people's chat, some dude named Bay Group LLC, right? Stream that Mr. Scene on Mac. So you still using, damn, that's like 2012 promotion. I see people do anything for money. Bye. Yeah, I hear you, bitch. Bye. Is Islam you allowed to marry your cousin? In Islam, you are allowed. This is very true, but they only do it from elks of people in Islam. You have to be somebody of prominence. You have to be able to offer a dowry that's significant, and usually a significant dowry to an extremely poor family. Too late, you're very wrong. Was enjoined from the UK, but that was unnecessary. Cannot speak to the American. I don't give a fuck who you are, bro. Too late. You shouldn't have taught. You should have did what I wanted you to do. And since you didn't want to do what I wanted you to do, I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna leave you with the rest of those 200 people, but I gotta go. That's how these people sound. I think Trump was just networking. I don't think he was taking part in the Clintons. I don't think so either. I don't think so either. I appreciate it, Phyllis. The house was in the Bahamas. And that's why I spoke of the Caribbean, because there's a lot of people down in the Caribbean that are poor. Poor than anybody that you know that's in the city housing projects or whatever. And little do y'all know, people have been going. That's why the motherfucker was in here from Europe. He said, "Oh, I gotta go," because he knew I was getting ready to go. What I was getting ready to go is the sex tourism that's been happening in the Caribbean ain't been happening because of Americans. The sex trafficking, like that motherfucker, I'm from the UK, I've got to go. The sex trafficking that's been happening for the past 25 to 30 to 35 years in the Dominican Republic, in Haiti, in Cuba, and many other places down there that y'all wouldn't even think of. You know where it's been coming from? The UK. If you go to Africa, they have the same type of sex tourism. All right? Same type of sex tourism. Where does it come from? Germany, Britain, France, Austria. They all travel down there. You don't think so? When Hitler and his troops were running, they say Hitler too, but the troops, they all went to Argentina, where they later helped to develop the fusion bomb, which y'all now know is a nuclear bomb. You understand what I'm saying? Which was actually old German technology from the SS. They went to Argentina. You think you think there's not a reason behind that? Why would Germans from Eastern Europe travel and come all the way to Argentina? Never mind about that. Point I'm getting at is, even back then, and that was the 1940s, these motherfuckers have always made their place as Europeans within motherfucking the Caribbean. This is what they've done. This is why Jeffrey Epstein built that house in the Bahamas instead of and no, everybody up there probably knew what he was doing. But the way those people, when you deal with the British islands that are down, this is my personal opinion. When you deal with the British islands down in the Caribbean, many of them are colonized to a point where you will never understand. You will never understand as an American. And the colonization, because the type of slavery they went through, even though it was chattel slavery, and chattel slavery began in the Caribbean. The form of slavery that you guys got to know in the United States started in the Caribbean. They hit the Caribbeans first before they. This is just. You can look on the ship roster and see this. This is just history. All those places were cultivated in the Caribbean because they had resources. You're talking about the Americas. Wasn't even the exploration until after they came into the Caribbean. I'm talking about, and it wasn't even the English. It was the Portuguese, the Spaniards, and many will say the French, and definitely the Dutch. The Dutch, oh man, we don't even talk about enough about what the dirt they've done. I got a friend of mine, Michelle. She's from a place called Suriname. Any of you guys ever heard of that? Suriname is a little bit outside of Jamaica. And it's weird because it shares a trajectory, but it sits way over almost further than Cuba does in almost a way, because Cuba sits like perpendicular to Jamaica as well. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know Jamaicans and Cubans share a huge history. That's why some people, they'll be like, "Yo, you understand that Jamaicans?" I'll be like, "Very well, trust me, very well." You understand? See, my deal with that one of mine was a picnic. You see, and so that's how I'm gonna deal with it. But as a man we grew, we got a little bit more crisp when on the like the election things like that. We don't wanna, we don't wanna be like an Englishman per se. You understand what I say? But just keep righteous things and keep it crisp. That's all I'm gonna deal with. A man don't deal with no type of fuckery around this, you see? The type of fuckery that bring an Englishman to his chair like this for the Queens. Nah, I don't deal with that. Man can clap for what I say. Anyway, listen. Don't worry about that news. The message for the picnic on them. Big man, you hear something, you respond, link up. Listen, this is my point, right? At the same time, you're not investigating what really went on with this Epstein thing as much as you guys were investigating what was going on with Diddy. And that worries me. That worries me. Jeffrey Epstein had a fucking mansion in Midtown Manhattan that he was inviting little girls to. Puff didn't do that. And over 1,000 girls between his residency in New York City and his residency in the Bahamas, which the people in the Bahamas, the last thing I heard, they bought the place, they put their money together, bought the home of Jeffrey Epstein and tore it down. There was a road with a signage when you got down to the end of the road. Did you know that? At Jeffrey Epstein's place, and maybe everybody feel welcome and everything like that. Most assaulters, they make you feel like that. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this, and I'm listening to how they say they're now bringing in the Clintons, both of them, Secretary of State, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former President Bill Clinton. They're bringing them in, don't you know? And they want to have a sit down and talk with them because they got a picture that one of our publications put out of actually Bill Clinton getting a massage by one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, which would have been a young girl because that was his flavor. That was what he preferred, based on Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony, who was asking for a commutation or a pardon, has been moved to a lighter, less stricter jail to ease her mind. But y'all motherfuckers still online talking about, not Diddy though, he can't get no pardon. No. Jeffrey Epstein had over 1,000 victims. And Ghislaine Maxwell helped him. And she's bold enough to put in a statement today, which I just read to y'all just a few minutes ago, by her lawyer, that she's seeking commutation or she's seeking a pardon. She's seeking commutation or a pardon. Commutation on what? Commutation on what exactly? How many years has she done so far? Anybody know? It was 2019, so she's done 6 years out of 20, right? So that means, boom, you break that down, good time or whatever she was convicted for. I don't think she has to do 100% of that. So she got to do about like 3, 4, 5 more years. She be all right. That's what you would have said about Puff. She be all right. She be all right. You got to bid up, baby. You got to learn how to bid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I seen it on the Browns the other day. I ain't feel no tears. But I feel tears for Ghislaine Maxwell for. You have facilitate 1,000 young girls, and you got the nerve to have your lawyer make a statement in any regard, or someone to speak for you and carry the message that you're seeking a commutation or a pardon openly. Pup of the team has never, ever, Mark, or any of y'all, has never leaned forward. And Mark, I got to agree with you. You said this is a good deal. I understand why you want to talk to me on the camera that day now. I was like, well, this motherfucker act like you want to talk to me on camera when I go down to court. Nah, I get it. I got you. But my point is, it's I don't know. I grew up with an uncle-in-law that talks just like that. You got a thick accent. Yeah, I ain't nobody uncle though. I got a nephew and a niece. Those are my nephew and my niece by blood. Other than that, I appreciate it, but I don't be playing that unk shit. I ain't nobody unk, dog. Like, I be telling a lot of these niggas, like, yo, your mom was just a teen mom. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. Anyway, guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen, hit the like button. Double tap the screen, hit the like button. I appreciate it. Double tap the screen, hit the like button. We got over 230 people in here listening to me. Nobody's hitting the cash app. Nobody's hitting anything, but y'all all writing in the chat room talking about, yo, da 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 da. Idris said he's still a monster. Yeah, well, you know, he is a monster. Jeffrey Epstein is disgusting. You know, that guy from Abercrombie and Fitch, which is the CEO, is disgusting. And they try to write it off. And they said, oh, well, he's an old man now. Don't forget he's an old man now. They gave that man a bond. They gave that man a bond. He was sitting at home with an ankle bracelet on, the guy from Abercrombie and Fitch. You do know that, right? And you know what they concluded was? We're going to send him to a facility, just like Ghislaine Maxwell. We're now going to send him to a facility now, and we're going to make sure that we have people overlook him and make sure he doesn't have any mental illness or any mental disdain, so he'll be able to slave trial. So you're going to send him, no, they're going to send him to a facility, and he's going to be there for probably like a year, and then all of a sudden he just going to fade into obscurity. That's what's going to happen. I was so about that. I grew up with an uncle in law. Oh, I get what you're saying now. Yes, mom. Yes, mom. Yes, mom. I see what I deal with. I see what I deal with. I see what I deal. Respect, queen. I see it. Respect. Respect. Yeah, I had when I was younger, my mom, she had a friend, and he was West Indian. And this is where that little connection come in. And so I used to hang with her friend's son heavily. And he was from the Bronx, ironically enough. That's why I tell you, my history with the Bronx go all the way back to when I was like kid. You know what I mean? He was from the Bronx. And he talked like that. He talked just like that. But their whole family loved me to death. So I was always over their house, always hanging out with them. You know what I mean? So that's why. But yeah, I was heavily around a lot of Jamaican. I know Jamaican artists. I can like old ones and new ones. You know what I'm saying? From the Barris Hammers, Ninja Man, uh, Ike Screech, all them people. You know what I'm saying? Israel Vibration, Big Time. You know, I know a lot of those artists, and I grew up listening to them with friends like Archie and other friends of mine or whatever. Not West Indian Archie, but that was really his name, Archie. So I grew up around these people and stuff like that or whatever. And then with French, y'all heard me refer to Ghislaine Maxwell in French. Her first name is French, which occurs to me that she has somebody that's French in her family and probably French, but Israeli background. Her last name, Maxwell, can be German or it can be German Israeli, which means that if you're not understanding, she was part of a group of Jewish individuals that migrated during a Great Depression in their history or whatever, kind of like migrated to the area that you see now under history's bounds, not giving my own opinion, but under history's bounds. And a lot of those people were mixed with a whole bunch of different Israeli groups, Ashkenazi Jews. No, she's not just white. Are you just black? Are you just black? Let me tell you something, Shield Hudson. I think that's what your name is. When you sit around and you make statements like that as a woman, I always kind of have a contention with you. Let me explain to what I mean, right? It's very easily, I notice, for a lot of black African American women, and I find it specifically with African American women, Caribbean women, and African women. They're very quick to jump up and make fun of a white woman. They say that white woman is less. But at the same time, you got Serena Williams. Venus doesn't have a husband at all. But Serena Williams does have a husband. She's recently lost 45 pounds. People have accused her of lightening her skin. She has a mixed baby. And the man that she's with is not one of the most attractive guys in the world. I think we all universally can agree with that. You understand what I'm saying? Have you seen a picture of this powder puff motherfucker? Not the most upstanding and white man that she probably could have had at her disposal, but she picked the worst one. Now, mind you, she passed up on Drake, she passed up on Common, and she passed up on 2 or 3 other black dudes that wanted to date her to go date this powder puff dude that she dated. Not to be confused with cool white dudes, Italian dudes, Greek dudes, dudes with good genetics and DNA or whatever, and the George Clooney folds and stuff like that. Nah, she went and got powder. You understand what I'm saying? And she went and she married powder. No, 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 no. Shut the fuck up, bitch. You don't know me. You don't tell me how fucking much to talk. This is my podcast, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You a stranger here. You don't run shit here. You don't even run shit in your house. So shut the fuck up, sit down, be quiet. Now, like I said, I have a problem with bitches like you that make racist statements like that because of the pure simple fact of this. It's not a racist statement when you sitting around and you congratulating black women for finding them a white husband. Pay attention, white America. There are two elements within, and I got to bring this up real quick and I'll make it quick. There are two elements with a woman that makes a statement like that. You know what I'm saying? You are a bitch. Even if you ain't a woman, you're still a bitch. The point I'm getting at, because it takes a bitch to write something like that, and then you turn around and then you try to motherfucking clean it up. Nah, bitch, you ain't clean it up. I heard what the fuck you said, ho. You ain't clean this shit up. Shut the fuck up, ho. Now, like I said, ain't nobody said you did, bitch. Shut up and listen to the wider brim of the conversation, bitch. That's the problem now. That's why nobody like you now, bitch. You talk too much. Shut the fuck up and listen to what the fuck somebody's saying. That's why you probably ain't sitting at home right now with no man getting ready to come on to you because you talk too much, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody ever told you to shut the fuck up. Now shut the fuck up. Now, like I said, the problem I have with women like you is the pure simple fact that women like you will get online and say some racist shit against Latinas, against white women, or any women that are not black American women. Shit, y'all even talk about African women and women from other countries that are black. Nowadays, right? What you call them? Oh, well, Tariq Nasheed told us to call him a tether. Tariq Nasheed and the folks over there, they said, no, we shouldn't have any allies anymore. Even though we're gonna cancel out a whole culture of people that's a whole continent. Yeah, to read the shit, he know about economics. Mm-hmm. Oh shit. So these silly motherfuckers like this dumb bitch. Cause oh, you don't know, I don't live in the gutter. Alright? People like this silly hoe. They teach their sons the same shit. And the thing they do is they teach their sons, not their daughters. They teach their daughters to go find them a white man. You can even find, bitch, my mama will beat your ass. Slow down, bitch. That's the next thing y'all go to. Bitch, my mama will beat your motherfucking ass. My daddy would motherfucking spit on you, too. What you talking about? You want to go to my sisters? My sisters will jump you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing. Loudmouth bitches always talking about somebody's mama. My mama will beat your ass. She heard you talking to me like that, bitch, in real life. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You can't whoop my mom. Huh? What you said? I said my sisters will jump your punk pussy ass. Cause you won't talk none of that shit offline. You talking online, or you got a brother or cousin or whatever, whatever, whatever. But we got some niggas too. Nah, this for the pleasure. You don't get the point. Just for the pleasure. I'd like to see that at that point because you came out your mouth about my mother. I didn't say anything about your mother. See what I mean? How these bitches is quick. She the exact bitch I'm explaining. So anyway, like I was saying, like this dumb bitch Shale Hudson that needs some attention. Dumb bitches like that, they raise their king. You can tell by her behavior. Let me explain to the rest of America the type of children that the bitches like this raise. This is why she got upset. Women like this raise children that y'all now become your next criminal. Women like this raise children that, especially men that are erratic and violent. Women like Shale Hudson, their whole DNA strand is flooded in bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? And they think that that bullshit is universal. Let me give you an example. I can't tell you how many times I'll be out somewhere, right? It happened to me just this weekend. I was out. I was with a friend of mine. We were hanging out. We went to a little bar, whatever, whatever. It's a little small place. I was in there speaking Spanish with my friends. It's basically a Latino spot, right? So I'm in there and I'm speaking Spanish with my friends. My friends, to them, they look black. So they were confused that we would sit, shut up, bitch. They were confused that we were sitting in there. I said, don't write nothing else, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch. You a stranger, bitch. Don't say nothing, bitch. Shut the fuck up, Cheryl Hudson. Don't nobody give a fuck what you talking about, bitch. Don't nobody know you over here. Shut up, bitch. You ain't even got no money to donate, bitch. Shut up. Shut up, bitch. Somebody should have been and told you, shut up, bitch. Shut up. So anyway, hoes like this, they want to come up to you and they want to do one of three things. There's nobody else around. So the first thing she did is she's trying to figure us all out. So she's trying to figure out who's who, what we are, da 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 da. And then she started dictating us. But you know, you guys are black. I said, bitch, my mother is black. Of course we know. Of course I know I'm black. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, I just wanted to let y'all know that y'all black. I'm like, first of all, bitch, who do you work for? The Census Bureau? This is exactly what I said to her. I swear to God. I said, bitch, you work for the Census Bureau? Whoa, 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 why you got to call me a bitch? Da, 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 da. I said, bitch, get the fuck up out of here. Just like that, and you won't believe me. You can ask my friends. They'll tell you I said the same thing. Because, well, I don't drink. So when I do drink, I get a little. I said, bitch, get the fuck up out of here. We don't know you. But we do something to you. Like, and that was days because we had bitches with us. So it's I was like, and they just sitting there the whole time saying, like, she don't even know the girls are with us. So to her, she just saw a whole bunch of like Dominican and Honduran girls. Like she saw like 6 Honduran Dominican girls sitting over in the corner. I don't have any class. Bitch, you came into my motherfucking chat room and accused me of shit, told shit about me, and sat there and said something about my mother when I didn't even prompt you or anything. You telling me I don't have any class? No, bitch, you're purely trash. You couldn't explain yourself. So you came in here and insulted my mother and my father and then try to play victim like bum bitches like you do. Let's put something else in perspective, bum bitch. My page is monetized. You sitting here at what? 3 o'clock in the 4 o'clock in the afternoon watching me. Go watch them baby ass kids that you failed to motherfucking upbring. How many fucking followers? This bitch been on here for 12 years and got 63 followers. And you in here talking about what somebody should be thinking? Bitch, die. Bitch, die. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I have to do that from time to time. You got all that racist epithet for white women, but a lot of you bitches is out here claiming how great it is to be with a white man. White men make white babies last time I checked, and little white girls, to be specific. Little white girls are made by white men, aren't they, or are they not? Are they or are they not made by white men? So if you have a baby infectedly by a white man and you are a black woman, it doesn't necessarily mean that that child is going to come out looking one way or more than the other. You understand what I'm saying? So saying a lot of instances, you'll have a mixed child that comes out looking more like the mother or more like the father or taking this attributes or whatever. With me, I look exactly like my dad. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like that, like you can look at me and him and tell we were twins. You know what I'm saying? But esta cabrona ahí se mi padre, entonces era la cubano. You know, so it's like stop thinking that you can get out here. Like I know people that are African and they look African American to you. You understand what I'm saying? I know people that are Honduran. You would never know Honduran. There's a lot of your podcasts, a lot of your favorite people y'all listen to. People around the world listen to Sammy Davis Jr., not even knowing that Sammy Davis Jr. was half Puerto Rican and half fucking, I think he was half Puerto Rican and half Cuban, I think he was, and black. Did you know that about Sammy Davis Jr.? Like, go do your research. Sammy Davis Jr., that wasn't his real name. He had a Spanish last name. You didn't know that? And there's many other people that are from the Caribbean or what do you call black Hispanic, I guess I was saying. Or I had somebody call me what they fucking call me, a Negro Latino or some shit like that, Afro Latino. I hate that fucking term. Don't use that term. Don't call nobody no Afro Latino. That's like calling somebody a Negro. Oh, look, a Negro. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, how do I feel about Puff and this whole thing with the bail thing? Let me circle back around to that, and then I'll go back into Epstein. I wanted to use Epstein as an example because I wanted to point that out. Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen, hit the like button. Double tap the screen, hit the like button. I'm going to talk more about that, but I want to talk about what I think real quick. For one, do I think that Trump will ultimately give Diddy a pardon? To be continued. Reason I brought up Epstein because now you have these people now centering in and targeting in, and the Ethics Committee and many others, they want to sit down with Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton about Epstein and these over 1,000 kids that were abused. And I said there was a lot of rumors and a lot of disinformation that was put out to Puff even before his trial began. And those same efforts haven't been put into a man, inclusive of people accusing him of messing with children. And I said, well, here you go. You got a man that really did mess with children. He's passed away now. He's gone. And the same type of favor is not given to him, especially in the Black and Latin community, which is very odd to me. And then it's sold in on that chick that was just here a minute ago. See, y'all may not know this, but, and I hate to say this, in African American women, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I can prove my point. There is a certain allotment, not all, but a certain allotment of African American women that not just in this decade, but in many decades before, and if you grew up around black women, a certain type of black woman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And they emphasize the fact that white women was going to get you in trouble. White women was going to take you down. White women, da 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 da. But if you look at these cases, you're not seeing white women in these modern day cases. The only thing you're seeing is black faces. You're seeing black females pointing the finger and accusing. You're seeing black females go and knock up a nigga, get a baby bomb, and then take him to court and take everything he got. You're seeing black men getting accused of the worst, like Puff and many other stars behind him, before black women, not white women. Name me a case right now that's pending right now where a white woman is at the center of the subject, and it's a person that is on the same elk or the same skew as Diddy or Jay-Z. You won't find one. That's why. You won't find one. You won't find one. So it seems like to me, in the past 10 or 15 years, the same thing that these black women have accused white women of, they're actually doing. Whether it's Karuchi, whether it's Amber Rose, or many of these other ha-has and TTs and hoo-has of the past. Hoes United. Hoes United. You always been out here trapping niggas with trap babies, born on trap carpet for a minute. Even before these dudes had money, if he was a local dude in the hood, you understand what I'm saying? She was that trap chick that had a trap baby on trap carpet. A lot of y'all dudes that got teen mothers that your mama don't want to sit down and have a conversation with. You understand what I'm saying? I'm here to tell you, if you're over 25, matter of fact, if you 30 years old, I say if you 30 years old at the most, I can rest assured and tell you, your mama was in the trap house with us. Shout out to Slink Johnson. Niggas know your mama. That's what I'm saying. Niggas know your mama. That's what I'm saying. Niggas know your mama. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, your mama had you on trap house carpet. She used to hang out with us. You understand what I'm saying? Things like that. I'm trying to tell you the truth. A lot of people don't want to hear it like that. So now you got these same women that are now adults, right? They have somewhat got their life together a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? They back out here on the streets, whatever you want to say, or whatever. They slinging it like they a brand new woman. But in all actuality, they're hiding some of their inner demons. See, a lot of these girls that you got online protesting against Puff, ask them in detail what they done did. Ask them in detail what they done did. Ask you what his mama did. Listen, a lot of people don't want to have the conversation, right? But I'll give you an example like this, and I can use it from a different way. When I just said niggas know your mama, right? Let me give you an example. There was a Freaknik documentary that was supposed to come out on Hulu, I think it was, about a year or two back. Y'all remember this? And all the hoes of hoes past, all the hoes from hoeings past, and nights unfulfilled and fulfilled, all the hoes from that club bathroom showed up now as dental assistants, doctor and associate holders, and business owners, somewhat 20 years, 25, 23 years later. I can't be in this Hulu documentary. I know I was busting down out there back in the day, but a nigga knew Peaches was out there. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, that's Peaches. My name ain't Peaches no more. Everybody call me Cynthia. It's Dr. Cynthia Thrasher, okay? Dr. Cynthia Thrasher, that's my name. Ain't nobody call me Peaches since the Freaknik days. Why you keep calling? Then you started seeing who she really was. So it was a whole bunch of girls that were named Peaches. I'm just saying that, from different cities in America that was in that Freaknik DVD. Freaknik Because they had the DVDs back in the day. That's why I remember this. That Freaknik footage. It was a whole bunch of, look, a couple of holes. They jumped out. They said, "Oh shit, he know, girl. He know. Let's hop up out of here. Let's hop up out of here. He know." My point is, a lot of these girls were looking guilty as fuck, and they called for the same thing. Make sure you hide the evidence. Make sure the world doesn't see us in this view. So this skew of women that I'm talking about, they have become very complacent and very slick on how to hide their bad doings. You understand what I'm saying? Very, very, very slick at it. And so what these women will do is they'll sit around and they'll project to you that the past 20, 25 years in bulk, they've just been these great women. They're so supportive or whatever, when the bulk of them haven't been, and the ones that are really good women get overshadowed. I know some beautiful black women. Like this is why I talk the way I talk, because I know the difference between them hoes and the dots and the bitches are opportunists. I know the difference. A lot of niggas' mamas was getting turned out back in the days. I'm trying to tell you, nigga. Listen, if you over 35, 40 years old and you a woman and you say you ain't never busted down the back of a car, you ain't never busted down in a park, you ain't never busted down late night down by the beach or whatever. Look, man, I done fell asleep on the beach, butt ass naked under a blanket with a chick 3, 4 times. You know what I'm saying? In Rhode Island on my mama. You know what I'm saying? That was my chick at that time. You know what I'm saying? So I done had some great times. You understand what I'm saying? Hanging out. Doing the thing and doing the thing. You understand what I'm saying? I know chicks that used to bust down in the project hallway. I know chicks used to bust down before 2010, 11 hit. Used to go to the rooftop of the project. That was the spot. You go up there, yeah, down. Next thing you know, 3 days later, she coming up to you. Now you understand what I'm saying. 3 days later, she coming up to you, yo, you know what, I'm pregnant. But we only 15. I'm pregnant. But we only 13. I'm pregnant. But you're only 14. You see what I'm saying? And so now you got a whole trilogy for the next 3 decades of the same repeated behavior. Teen mother. Her mama was a teen mother. Her mama was a teen mother. Her mama was a teen mother. These women, most of the time, don't have a dad beside them. Or if they did have a dad beside them, the dad is also a teenager. What luck can he be to you in the bigger scheme of things? Nothing. He's a kid himself. You see? And so you get a lot of these boys that grow up, and they grow up adjacent to only agreeing with women. This is why it's very dangerous. Listen to me, man. It's very dangerous for you to be around white men or black men and you are engaged in an argument with a woman and it looks like it's going to go violent. Just get out of the space. They're going to do something to you. And you're going to be put in a position because they're going to do whatever they want to because their adoration towards women is that deep. I've studied one other species of mammals that I know of, and there might be more, but mammals that I know of that are inclusive in this behavior where they let women dictate and rule their class, and that's hyenas. Did you know that? Hyena packs are led by women. And there's 3 or 4 other animals that do it. There's a group of monkeys that do it, but I thought hyenas would be better out of the 2. But they do this. They're led by women. The women control them. And if you don't believe me here, you want to take my idea for it, I'll read it for you. How about that? This is why I said this type of behavior is dangerous. Guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, support the channel if you dig anything I'm saying. If not, let me see if anybody's donated. If they haven't, I'm going to go ahead and blow us up on out of here. Oh, of course not. But I appreciate the views, y'all. You know, it's very hard being a man of color as a content creator on here. You don't get very much support, which is crazy, but it is what it is. So, you know what I mean? I know this is a racist place. I know this is a generally, it is what it is. Don't even worry about it. Guys, the Cash App is right there in the link, $STRINGERBELL80. Also, there's a Venmo and PayPal link in the description box and also where I've shared this. Make sure y'all support the channel. I appreciate it, man. I really do. All right. So what we were looking for is we wanted to find out. What did I say here? We were just talking about it too. I forgot what I just said. So his mom was turned to That's crazy. All right. So first thing I want to find out is this: how many were single moms in the 90s? I'm going to put the 90s first. Okay, so we're going to put that first. Then I'm going to give you some answers to some things. I just want to first see that, then I'm going to go to the whole hyena thing. Available data points to a higher percentage of single black women in the 1990s compared to other racial and ethnic groups. In the 1990s, 1990, 37% of black women had never been married. Data from 1999 indicates that among black women ages 15 and older, 39% had never been married, while 12% were divorced and 10% were widowed. Comparing marriage rates in 1990, the rate for white women was 70%, 76% higher than for black women. And white men, it was 55% higher than black men. Black women had the lowest marriage rates in the 90s across all racial and ethnic groups. So this was the 90s. Okay? Research suggests a connection between declining black women's marriage rates and increasing black men's interracial rates during this period. In 1990, 4% of black women ages 25 to 34 were married to someone of another race, 4%, compared to about 1% in the 1940s and 50s. Now, that's women. It is important to note that single and passes various situations, including never married, divorced, widow, while exact number of single black women in the 1990s might be hard to pinpoint exactly. So I just wanted to read that because I wanted y'all to understand what was going on during those days. Then they said, why were 2/3 of black women of marriageable age unmarried during the 90s? It follows up with an article about that. So this is real stuff. I just wanted to let y'all know that I wasn't making this up on y'all. You understand? Here's another one from Statistica. The increase from the 1990s level when there was about 3.4 million black women with a single mother. So this goes into show some of the things I was talking about. Number of black families with a single mother in the United States from 1990 to 2022. Now this is going to blow your mind, right? Now check this out. In 1990, in the thousands, number of black families with a single mother, there was 3,430, and this is per ratio. That went up to the average of being 4,147 by 2022. Okay, and these statistics are based on, and I'm going to read this to you. In 2022, there was about 4.15 million black families in the United States with a single mother. 4.15 million black families in the United States with a single mother. That is an increase from 1990 levels when there was about 3.4 million black families with a single mother. You went from 3.4 to 4.5 billion. Now mind you, you make up 14 point something percent of the population, but a high majority of these kids have been raised by a single mother. The typical family is comprised of a two-parent or at least one child. However, this is not the case with every single situation. A single parent is someone who has a child but no spouse or partner. Single parenthood occurs for different reasons, including divorce, death, abandonment, or single parent adoption. Historically, single parenthood was common due to mortality rates due to the war, diseases, and maternal mortality. However, divorce was not as common back then, depending on the culture. Single parent well-being. In countries where social welfare programs are not strong, single parents tend to suffer more financially, emotionally, and mentally. In the United States, most single parents are mothers. The struggles that single parents face are greater than those in a two-parent household. The number of families with a single mother in the United States has increased since 1990. But the poverty rates of black families with single mothers has significantly decreased since that same year. In comparison, the poverty rate with Asian families with a single mother and the percentage of white non-Hispanic families with a single mother who live below the poverty level in the United States have been fluctuating since 2002. So that's crazy to me. So we go here, United States living below poverty. We got numbers for that. We got numbers for what's the name. But this is all, like I said, detailed here. And the reason I read out these demographics, and white women, y'all in here too. So don't be thumbing up your nose. You high welfare recipient ass bitches. To all the white women on my podcast right now, can I hold some EBT or something? Because y'all bitches seem to be leading in that shit. Let me hold a couple food stamps next Tuesday. I get back to your cash, nigga. You a nigga to your white nigga, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-mm. So we've had a problem, obviously, with single parent households. Single parent households give birth to these men that are adorn and basically pay attention to nothing but women. Now, as we are mammals, and here we go. I want to read this off to you. Female spotted hyenas are dominant within their clans, being larger, more aggressive, and higher ranking than males. I will say it again. Female spotted hyenas are dominant within their clans, being larger, more aggressive, and higher ranking than their males. They also possess a higher level of testosterone, leading to more muscular builds and greater aggression. Furthermore, all female spotted hyenas have a functional penis used for urination, signaling, and mounting, including for dominance display. Y'all want me to read that for y'all one more time? Let me read it for you one more time. We gonna tap out in a little bit. Female spotted hyenas are dominant within their clans, being larger, more aggressive, and higher ranking than the males. They also possess a higher level of testosterone, leading to the more muscular builds and greater aggressions. Furthermore, all female spotted hyenas have a functional penis used for urination, signaling, mounting, including for dominance displays. I can't make this up. Social hierarchy. Female spotted hyenas are leaders of their clans, which can consist of 80 individuals. They are typically larger and more muscular than the males. If you peeping where I'm going with this, then peep where I'm going with this. If you don't peep where I'm going with this, peace. But I got to put it out there. Female hyenas have significantly higher testosterone levels than males, contributing to their aggressive behavior and dominant social status. Sounds familiar. It's external genitalia, and I think this is where y'all gonna be heading like the next 15 years if y'all ain't careful with all this misogynist, misandrous, and all female spotted hyenas have a penis-like structure, which is used for urination, signaling, and even mounting both males and females for dominance displays. That sounds familiar. Mating and reproduction. Females are choosy when selecting mates, often preferring less aggressive males. They tend to remain in their natal clan for life, while males often disperse to new clans. That's interesting. Nursing. Hyena mothers nurse their young for an extended period, up to 14 months. They produce rich milk, and the cubs rely solely on the milk for the first 6 months. Hunting and scavenging. Spotted hyenas are primarily hunters, but they also scavenge from other predators' hunts. And I want to read some other stuff about hyenas because this is crazy how much. I mean, if you pay attention to what I'm saying, you pay attention to what I'm saying, bro. Let's go right here. I want to read this one off to you too because this is actually interesting that you guys may not know. Um, so, for example, and this is what I think things are going into too. This guy is pseudo. Yeah, this is crazy how much the distinction. Oh man, this is crazy. The hyena has been vilified by humans since ancient times. Seen as a wicked, cowardly, ugly creatures, hyenas are very misunderstood. They are more than just mere scavengers. They possess fascinating characteristics and behaviors that contribute to the intricate balance of their natural world. In this article, we rely on 10 fun facts about hyenas that you may not know. Hyenas are not cats or dogs. They belong to a hyena, which in this order is distinct from both cat. Okay, so they're not a canine. But we don't have to get into that because I don't want to insult nobody. Point is, if you read some of the behaviors I read up, don't that sound familiar just a little bit? Like, that sound like, yeah, don't worry about that. Anyway, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. As quick as you got a female that's running the troop right there, you get females that are in the human world that try to run the troop. And that's the comparisons I was giving here. I wasn't calling black women or any other women hyenas. I was just saying the behavior I'm pointing out. It seems condescendant, if you feel what I'm saying. Um, my last thoughts. We're gonna wait and see what happens with Trump. We're gonna wait and see what happens 60 days from now, like Judge Sam Marinian said. I'm gonna read that off to you real quick because I want y'all to know exactly what the judge said. I think it's fair to do that. Before I do that, though, let me share this real quick. Get this out to everybody so we can get some people in here that got some bread. Y'all give me 1 second, please. I'm just sharing this. I have to get my. Just give me 1 second, guys. Hey, Smoker, what's going on? Nah, I had to share this real quick or whatever. Get some people up in here. You know what I mean? People don't want to hit the like button for me. I get a lot of hate, son. That's why I said like I do these joints right here, whatever for fun. But we even gonna slow down on doing. Like I said, if y'all ain't seen the difference, you will see it this month. Definitely. You know what I mean? This live thing, it ain't what it's cut out to be, Shay. Trust me. This is not what's it no more. But y'all gonna find out, but this is not what's it no more. Like, trust me when I tell you on that. This is not what's it. If you're a man and you're here on, if you're a man and you're here on this app right here, I would strongly suggest not going live like that no more. There's a lot of hatred for men of color on here. It's more personified by women of color. If anything, they go from page to page telling this any old type of heresy and lies and everything else they can on men of color. Somebody this morning, I was telling you about that. Somebody this morning sent me a link of some chick that was in. I gotta talk about that real quick before I get up off here because it happens quite too often. This is to let you know how bad this place is turning into like the same confines as like what are you talking about? TikTok. On TikTok, the girls can go on there. They can say whatever they want to say whenever they want to say it, right? Because this is part of my diatribe, and this is the third part of my what's the name? Third part of my title here. And so I go yet again. It's another Black American woman, and so she's sitting up there and she's talking about Diddy, but somehow or another, she brings up another woman's name, which I'm not going to mention, but a lot of people know who this woman is, and then my name along with it. And that other woman, if she know me, she know well, she do know me. She know what I'm talking about because she's probably seen it too. You understand? And so this woman who had about like I don't know 10K or something like that, you had, but she had a lot of people once again in her chat room, and she briefly talked about me. She was like this like that Diddy supporting Dab and Lewis. That's how she projected me to people. And I was like, here's a woman that I don't know. I've never met this woman a day in my life, and she's encouraging without encouraging her audience to go out and tell other people don't financially support this man for whatever reason she's concocted in her mind shouldn't be. More importantly, she just doesn't like the fact that one, she don't like the fact like a lot of these girls they think like they're the say all and be all, like they really think they can walk into a courtroom and like everybody's supposed to listen to them and bow down or whatever. And I'd be like, nah, nobody just told you ever before in your life. Shut up, bitch. That's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's ever challenged you, you know? And so the reason I gave that interpretation with the hyenas or whatever, because I want y'all to pay attention to a couple of things. The female hyenas are stronger. The female hyenas, they fight you for a pecking order. The female hyenas have a quasi penis. This is what they said. And they can mount males and females. I said, well, damn, y'all basically turn into female hyenas. I don't know. But a lot of these bras, they think they can lead the pack. And you will not lead me, bitch. I don't follow a bitch nowhere. You understand me? I don't follow a bitch nowhere. I don't care who get offended by that or whatever. Real women know exactly what I'm talking about. I follow a woman somewhere. I ain't following the bitch nowhere. A bitch will follow you, lead you into destruction, nigga. That's what a bitch will lead you to. A bitch will lead you to destruction one way or another. You can take a pleasant walk to the destruction, or you could take the chaotic motherfucking run to the destruction. A bitch without motherfucking purpose will run you into the ground. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I done seen it happen. I done seen it happen. So ain't no hoe gonna run me. I don't give a fuck. You don't have to hit the like button for you silly motherfuckers that are here, whatever. But my problem is we're now in this level where this app has switched up the algorithm. So now we're getting bumped out to fucking strangers. You understand what I'm saying? Not our people that follow us or whatever. Like, look how long it took Sparkle to get in here. You understand what I'm saying? That used to be one of the people, that used to be one of the first people when I go live. And I wish they would turn it back. I don't like this stranger shit. I don't need the vote. I don't need the views. I know these people, I had at one time 500 people in here. They're not even hitting the like button. They're not donating. They're not supporting or whatever. So we're stuck with these people that we don't know. And then on top of that, these people that come in that we don't know, they make podcasts about people they don't know. This woman that was talking about me, I've never came across this woman a day in my life. Yet she's sitting in her chat room telling people, yeah, and that Diddy supporting Davin Lewis, you know, and him always asking for cash. I'm like, bitch, I spend like the last 30 minutes, 20 minutes of my podcast explaining to people. And I said, I think in this live right here, I've said twice, and this is 2 hours and 10 minutes. I've said twice my cash app. Twice. And I said it very briefly and quickly. And one time when I mentioned it, 60 people jumped off like, how dare that nigga ask for a donation? Only black women can ask for donations on this motherfucking app. Black women and white men. That's it. They don't even want white women to get donations now. Black women. So when you got that type of financial sabotage or whatever going on online, and you see obviously there's some type of what's her name, bitch, I can't give you my support no more. I'm sorry. I'm seeing how you hoes is moving. Hoes is talking about, yay, down with Diddy. Yeah, I'm glad the white man said no pardon for that nigga. Yay, down with Diddy. I'm glad Judge Samarinia said no for that nigga. Like, y'all all celebrating that, but they ain't said shit about your ex-motherfucking president and his bitch getting subpoenaed today to testify because of some shit Epstein did when he took that over 1,000 young, under 16-year-old girls. Under 18, a majority of all of them, but under 16 for the greater majority of many of them. Y'all ain't got nothing to say about that. That's why I told you these bitches is very strategic when they attacking who they attacking. They don't attack nobody but niggas. That's it. That's all they attack, niggas. That's all they attack, niggas. And if you remember that, the better off you'll be. These bitches are primed to attack niggas. And the niggas that they raised are primed to attack men as well. Basically, two bitches. And wait, thank you, Jayla. I appreciate that, man. Cancer, man. If you ain't donating nothing, don't say shit to me. A federal judge in New York declined on Monday to grant Sean Diddy Combs bail, finding no exceptional reasons to release him prior to his October sentencing. Combs was convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution, which the judge said mandates incarceration. His sentencing is set for October 3rd. Judge Aaron Samarinian said Combs remains a risk of flight and a danger to the community, pointing to the violence exhibited in 2016 hotel surveillance footage that shows him kicking and dragging Cassie Ventura. Defense attorneys say Combs had transported male escorts not for profit or under duress, but to join his swingers lifestyle, arguing that those unique circumstances warranted release. The judge said that the argument might have traction in a different case, but not one that included the evidence of violence, coercion, or subjugation to connection with the prostitution. While Combs may contend at sentencing that this evidence should be discounted and that what happened was nothing more than the case of willing swingers utilizing voluntary services of escorts for their mutual pleasure. The government takes the opposite view, that Cassie Ventura and Jane were beaten, coerced, threatened, lied to, victimized by Combs as part of participation in these events. The opinion said Combs also argued for release on bail because of the squalor and the danger of the Metropolitan Detention Center, which I could agree with. But the judge said jail staff have been able to keep him safe, even during an incident of threatened violence from an inmate. Yeah, I want to know who was it that threatened Puff. Anybody know who that was that threatened Puff? Let niggas know. The judge order did not elaborate on the nature of the threat and what jail staff did to mitigate it. Following the 8-week federal trial, the jury convicted Combs last month of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but acquitted him of the most serious sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges. Samarinian denied him bail following the verdict, cited then as well that the violence was starkly depicted in the 2016. So they keep going back to that video, and that's why I keep telling you they keep going back to Cassie's video. Cassie's video ain't even like, and this is my personal opinion. Cassie's video ain't that important no more, dog. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I mean, that's not even part of the conversation no more. He wasn't convicted because of Cassie's video. This is something Puff said right here that should stand out. Sean Diddy Combs made a bombshell claim about his prison conditions and a fresh appeal for bail. The embattled rapper's lawyer, Mark Agnafilo, petitioned Judge Amber Samarinian on Sunday to release the 55-year-old on bail ahead of his October 3rd sentencing. In a brief letter, in the filing obtained by Page 6, the attorney claimed that the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, known as is in inhumane conditions. Um, in an inhumane society. What's the name? I don't think there's any more else to it. He just complained about the food. Oh yeah, it is. Your fault. MDC routinely serves food that is expired or infested with maggots. Now, that part I can believe. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. A lot of that food that you get in the prisons, like, I want y'all to look, I mean, I'll show y'all too. It's only like 2 or 3 companies that provide food. There's like 2 or 3 companies that provide sheets, and there's another company that provides like the toothpaste and the soaps and shit like that. I'm dead serious for the prison systems. And so, depending on what prison it is, a lot of these prisons like MDC, that's an old prison. They get the food and everything like that, but it'll be sitting for a minute. They're gonna use every bit of it they can. And a lot of these places, yeah, they got roaches, yeah, they got rats, yeah, they got maggots that'll sit around because of the conditions of a lot of the prisoners in there as well. A lot of prisoners are nasty. A lot of prisoners will sit back or whatever. Niggas used to have a term, yo, niggas smell like a Viking up in here. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, niggas just living like Vikings. That's what niggas used to say. And so, you know what I mean? Like, you get somebody that they ain't washed their tail in 3 or 4 days, or he got a messy cell. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the term we give them. Yo, niggas just in here living like Vikings right now. You know what I'm saying? I can't fuck with this dude. Yo, CO, I need a new celly, son. You know what I'm saying? Yo, to pack this nigga up. You know what I mean? Like that used to be the talk. I don't. You know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Whatever. But anyway, long story short, those places and their facilities, yes, they're like that. I can even speak for what's the name? I can even speak for some of, yeah, it's terrible, Sharon. I can even speak for some of the homeless shelters in New York City too. They work on a different thing, where you're getting people that donate food, right? And a lot of times, like I can take for example, we used to get stuff because where I was at, I was somewhere nice. Like I could definitely say I was somewhere real nice both times. But where we would go to and shit, right? Like you would have like, how can I explain it? You would have food that was donated, and sometimes the food that was donated, it would be old. It would have mold on it. I ran into stuff where I started eating a sandwich one time. Never nothing from Starbucks. They never did that. Nothing from I forgot what the other company is. There's another company too. They always made sure they gave people fresh shit, and they would throw things away because the people would tell us, oh, we had these with it, but they had a little mold on them, so we threw them out. They'll say that because I've caught it when they were delivering things. But yeah, that could be a problem. New York don't give a fuck about what you eat. They don't even give a fuck about what you eat when you go to these restaurants. You know what I'm saying? And I feel sorry for any motherfucker to eat off them trucks. You eat off them trucks, nigga. You's a brave motherfucking. You's a brave motherfucker. Yeah, they donate the food. So most of these homeless shelters, if you don't know, they basically get the food donated to them from people in the community or organizations, or a lot of times it's restaurants. So where I was at, I was in like a nice area. Trust me when I tell you this. Like I'm smart. I'm not going to Brooklyn. I know where to go. Where all the white folks at? They're at home. Like, well, I'm going. And then I was at a dangerous one. But where I slept at and everything like that, it's safe area. Trust me when I tell you this. And so, long story short, or whatever, um, how can I say it? A lot of the food that you would get donated to us were from upper high echelon restaurants, if you want to say. So they would be like, and not saying that Starbucks is, but they would be from upper echelon chains, or they'd be from local restaurants that were in that area. Which some of these restaurants, they charge you $20, $25 for a sandwich. That gets you in the SKU or queue. You understand what I'm saying? So in that area. So what would happen is we would get high end shit, but sometimes they would be trying to save it for a couple of days, and because nobody else would come through with the same thing. Now, different places had different people that donated to them. Some people didn't have as much donations as others, and so what would happen is some of that food would go bad, and we would like uniquely throw it out with staff or whatever the case may be. So if he says in his dissertation that the food is old or whatever, I 110% believe him. The maggot infested food captured in a photo is unfortunately not an uncommon experience. Yeah, see, the maggot infested food captured in a photo. So Puff caught the shit in a photo. MDC routinely serves food that is inspired and infested. Agnophilia alleged in a document going on to reference a picture. The maggot-infested food captured in the photo is unfortunately not uncommon experience, he wrote. Agnophilia deemed this an allegedly frequent lockdowns exceptional circumstances worthy of consideration. Combs has been at the New York City prison, who other famous inmates have included R. Kelly and Ghislaine Maxwell, since his September 2024 arrest. So yeah, 8 weeks after Combs' high-profile trial kicked off in Maine, he was found guilty of 2 counts of transporting individuals in prostitution. We all know that stuff. I'm not going to erase this again. He faces a maximum of 20 years, 10 years for each count. I don't think they're going to do Puff like that. I hope not. Agnophilia immediately requested for Combs to be released on bail following the July 2nd conviction earlier, or now last month. The judge noted the Bad Boy Records family had no reason. Okay, the judge noted that he denied the Bad Boy Records founder bail ahead of trial, saw no reason to reach an opposite conclusion after the fact. He did, however, say he might be willing to move up the October sentencing. Agnophilia referred to Savarinian's denial as unfair over the weekend, writing hell-bent on punishing Combs for being a user of prostitute services and in a more draconian manner than anyone in U.S. history. The government continues to target him. He denied Combs as a flight risk or a danger to others, pointing out that the songwriter has shown nothing but respect to the criminal justice system and everyone in it from the first minute in jail. Agnophilia told Variety on Friday that Combs' time in prison has been difficult, with the record executive spending a lot of time thinking. The lawyer claimed he misses his kids. He's learned a lot. What he wants to do when he gets out is start small. He wants to spend time with his children, get reacquainted with his own life. Agnophilia called the food the roughest part of Come Stay. So, yeah, man, and like I said, I'm sad to hear that. You know what I mean? That food is down there, but dog, you got a bid. That's what it is. You got a bid. You heard me, Puff? You got a bid. You got a bid, nigga. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got a bid. Judge Samarinian says in another excerpt, and I don't need to pull that up just to read that excerpt, that don't worry, it's only 60 days. And there's so many ways that can be interpreted, that can be well out there. It's only 60 days. We will see. I pointed out the other day, and I'll point this out again, how Judge Samarinian is Indian. And in India, if any of y'all are not familiar, there's a lot of sexual battery that goes on in India. And I read about that the other day, just to put y'all in perspective, inclusive of one story of a woman that was a tourist from Brazil with her husband there, and they were traveling from one unpopulated area to Nepal. And when they were traveling there, they decided to camp out in this couple did, in a tent. And 7 men ran into the tent while they were asleep, held a knife to the husband's neck, threatening to slice his throat, and proceeded to take advantage of his wife in front of this man. Each one of these several men took turns and laughed as they were doing it in front of this man's face, which led me to believe this gang, that's not the first time they've done that. When you say, further on, we talk about for the past 30 to 40 years, India has had an extreme problem with corrupt judges, paperwork being filed when these girls, I forgot what the what's the name is, it's a P something, but it's a paperwork that they're supposed to fill out right when there's a sexual assault in India, and people are not filling them out. Police officers are corrupted. A lot of the government officials are corrupted when it comes to sexual assaults on women. There have been numerous different advocacy groups that have been formed over the past 15 to 20 years. And there seems to be a high propensity of one thing that's funny that sticks out: juveniles being sexually assaulted. Isn't that funny? Usually in some forms of forced marriages, things like that in the more rural areas, but in the cities, full blown on prostitution. Full blown on prostitution. And so you got places like Bombay, Nepal, and places like that that have fallen beacon and becoming hovers for prostitution. And I would love, after this case is done, to Judge Samarinian sit down and have a conversation with us about what's going on in his country, of his parents' origin anyway. Even though he was born in Pennsylvania, his family's from India. Now, I hope you would take that into consideration, what's going on in your own country, sir. And even though you say you are American, I believe you are American. You grew up on the American tile. I would never, ever insult you with that. Your heritage is Indian. And when we're talking about Indians, there's a lot of sexual assault that goes on in India that outpaces America. We'll sit back and see what Judge is going to do. We're going to sit back and see what Trump's going to do. And we'll just watch this whole thing pan out. And maybe Puff may be coming home. Maybe he won't. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I'm going to get up out of here. Like I said, if I ain't making no money, ain't no reason for me to spend no more time here than I need to. I gave my skewed views. I definitely bounced around the place for a few reasons. I don't like to give people easy ways of trying to interpret me, so I do a lot of little things like that. No problem whatsoever, Sharon. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? When I see people are not hitting the like button, I see people are not engaging in the conversation, I see people are not donating or whatever, and they donate to people that do a lot less. I see people are now putting forth efforts of making podcasts on me and shit like that. I'm like, I don't have no white enemies. All my enemies are this color. Every last one of the motherfuckers. So, it is what it is. It ain't no worries about it. Like I said, this is not my main mantra anymore anyway, doing the lives. I think that doing less lives is better for me. I think I won't be going live unless it's something that I need to talk about or I feel I need to talk about. But from now on, yeah, unfortunately, because of lack of support and all that or whatever, we cannot concentrate. Like at one point, y'all saw it. I had over 400 people in here. I yelled, can y'all hit the like button? 80 people dropped out. So that's people that they prefer to drop out before they hit the like button. And then on top of that, I'm being shared by some communities that actually don't like me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's weird as hell, but people are following people and sharing people to their community. So you think these people are in here and they fuck with me? They don't fuck with me. They're in here because I said something about their favorite podcast or something like that. So they're in here trying to gather what they can. Well, he's still one of the bad boy niggas. I'm never going to tell you what we really thinking. I get some shit coming up this month that's going to blow your mind with me. I'm never going to tell you what I'm thinking. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not a snitch. I'm not a nigga that, like, I could go right now and sit down with probably like 4 or 5 podcasters, give them an interview of their dreams, and they'll pay me $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. This niggas, they sitting on their podcast and claim they were around this time, this date, and this date. Listen, let me tell you something. For any of you motherfuckers that's sitting around, this any of y'all niggas that was part of Bad Boy, and y'all talking about times and areas and things that you wasn't even around for. Okay? You hadn't even been at the company yet. I can't listen to a nigga talk about Tupac and Biggie and shit that went on with Tupac and Biggie when in 1990, nigga, you was 14 years old. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and niggas is sitting down with these people and these people is paying them and shit like that. It's all good, bro. Y'all ain't keep that money, but it's just the fact that the hating is so deep on this motherfucking app for men, and especially specifically men of color, and it is a goddamn shame. That's why I tell none of these motherfuckers, don't you come in this motherfucker calling me brother, nigga. You ain't donate $5 to $10 to me. Don't you come up in this motherfucker calling me brother. You ain't defend me or talking to chat when you heard me say, yo, this motherfucker's doing this, writing podcasts and shit about me. Don't you come up with this motherfucker calling me brother. Call me anything but that shit. All right, that's all. That's my whole point. You can't support it, so my suggestion to you guys, and I'll tell you like this: you can be friends with black dudes, hang out with black dudes, whatever, whatever, whatever. But and Spanish dudes, y'all put it in this, y'all in this too, especially Hispanics and Latinos from the Caribbean, not Latin America. Y'all fit into this foray too. Don't trust them niggas. This is a new Elka motherfucker. Don't trust them niggas. They hate you. And they will do anything they got to do. And you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but you will find out sooner or later. They will do anything they got to do to take you down, to get you out of the way if you are in their way. And they won't do this to any other race or culture of people. They only just specifically do it to people that look like you. So if you smart, don't get into, if you can avoid it, don't get into emergencies around these folks. They'll try to do something to you, or they'll laugh at you, or they'll film you. There's very few of them that have compassion or anything else. Their modus operandi is key, 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 he. You can notice that by every time they leave a comment. Key, 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 he. Pay attention to them. You understand what I'm saying? There is no black togetherness. It's a shaw and it's a shrewd. And the only reason they project it is the pure simple fact that they ascertain themselves cash apps. They don't do any real work. If you go on my channel, you'll see real works have been putting in. You understand what I'm saying? Nigga, you couldn't even spell Diddy Party right. You couldn't even spell it right. That's crazy. At least if you're going to spell something, spell it right. Another nigga still writing Diddy Party. When there's been a court case, this is the people they pride themselves to. They love people like this, weirdo niggas. So, you know, black culture is kind of like weird, dog. Like, it's a weird motherfuckers over there. I'm sorry, it's a weird motherfuckers over there. Like, they talk to themselves, they make up shit. Have you been around black people lately? This is the one where they're really jealous of you or they don't like the way you look or something like that. I've literally had black Americans, especially the women, they'll do one or two things with me. They'll walk in front of me and start talking to themselves. I swear to God to you, start talking to themselves. Like literally start talking to themselves and saying whatever's on their mind, whatever in front of you. It don't matter if it's, and I know there's other black dudes that have witnessed this too. There's a lot of black American women out here that are literally out of their fucking mind, dog. Trust me when I tell you this. And there's only one way to fucking stop them. And it ain't with a motherfucking flag. You understand what I'm saying? My point is, when you get these silly motherfucking bitches and these silly motherfucking niggas that are online, they're a problem. You understand? They're able to congregate. These are not stand-up people you have here online. That's why I don't really take like certain vloggers seriously. Like Anton Daniels, for example. People ask me why I mentioned him before. Because the nigga tries to deliver conversations and they're fake conversations. It look like some Brady Bunch shit you doing over there, bro. Nobody listening to that shit except for other nerds. That's a conversation for nerds. Niggas ain't, I'm not your motherfucking brother. Stop calling me your fucking brother. You donate anything to me, you hit the like button, then you're not my fucking brother. You just a nigga that's a spectator listening. Just be a nigga and a spectator listening. I don't need you to tell me bye. I don't need you to tell me any of that shit. If you not support my channel, I don't want to hear fucking shit you got to say. Especially if you a dude. All the women, y'all can say whatever y'all want to in here. The dudes, I'm sick and tired of black American dudes. They want to compensate motherfucking words and fake well wishes with donating and supporting and hitting the like button. You niggas is fake. I've been around real niggas. I still know real niggas. Them real niggas help me out. These fake ass niggas that be on here on this YouTube shit and these other apps and shit, these niggas don't help, nigga. The only person they help is women. So do me a favor, skip that my brother shit. I'm not your motherfucking brother, nigga. You wouldn't do shit to help me. You understand what I'm saying? More or less, I done told niggas for fucking 2 weeks, yo, I lost my phone. I need y'all niggas. I got 30,000 followers. Check this out. This is how much they hate niggas. I said, yo, I need my motherfucking supporters. Now, I got 30,000. I asked $500. $500. That was to take care of a phone bill, and I got to pay deductible to get my phone back, which is $272, right? I had a high-end phone. You know, up until 2 weeks later, I have thousands of people in this motherfucker. When I finish this podcast, I probably had at least 30,000 people to watch this, right? But you'll notice one thing that's familiar. Not one donation. You know what that is? It's a system of black Americans and specifically black American women. Because like I told you, just like the hyenas, black American women, they run the culture. So like, if the bitches say something, then the niggas follow right behind with it. So when you come in my chat and you be like, my brother, no, my nigga, only thing it take is a word from a bitch and you'll change the fuck up. Get the fuck out of my face, nigga.